Good evening, everyone. I call to order the July 22nd, 2025 regular meeting of the City Council at 6:26. Morgan Schliff, would you lead us with the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Thank you.
Of the United States and to the republic for justice and nation under God.
Thank you. So roll call, please, Madam City Clerk.
Quick announcement. On Monday, July 21st, Councilmember Keegan requested to join today's meeting virtually pursuant to AB 2449 under the Just Cause Clause due to medical reasons. The council was notified on Monday, May 21st of Councilmember Keegan's request. For today's meeting, all votes will be taken via roll call and virtual public comments will be accepted during general public comment. And with that, Councilmember Francois?
Here.
Councilmember Keegan?
Here.
Councilmember Jackson?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Detoy?
Here.
Mayor Saman?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Mr. City Attorney, do you have a closed session report for us, please?
I do, Mayor. Thank you. Mayor and Council, as you know, the City Council met in closed session today to discuss the items described on the agenda. All 5 members were in attendance, and no item or no action was taken that needs to be reported under the Brown Act. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Next on our agenda is approval of the agenda. Is there anything under the, pardon me. Oh, we have announcements first, excuse me, yes. I have an announcement. Madam City Clerk, could you put that slide up, please? Well, I'll get started. I'd like everyone in the city to know that on July 26th, between 4 and 8 p.m., the Hermosa Beach Sister City Association is having their annual gala. It's their one large fundraiser. It helps them fund just about everything they do for the city of Laredo in Mexico. It's a very worthy cause, and I would appreciate everyone attending. We're going to have a slide up there. This year it's called Carnival Magico. There's going to be magicians and comedians, a great show on stage, be some music and dancing. There you go. Food will be available, everything, and tickets are available at, let's see, it's at the bottom here, Hermosa Beach Sister Cities, hbsistercities.org. So you can go there and get tickets or find any one of the associate members of the Sister Cities group. Appreciate it very much if you'd come. It'd be a great time for everybody. You'll have a good time, and appreciate it. There's the ticket form right there. So take a picture of that and order some tickets and come on. You'll have a great time. It'll be fun. There's going to be an auction there too. Have some great gifts and some amazing silent auction stuff. So I hope to see you all there. Thank you. Are there any other announcements of any kind? Seeing none, let's move on to the approval of the agenda. Does anyone want to pull anything from the consent calendar? Well, I would like to pull item 11M, I believe. Pardon me.
11M.
11.
I'd like to pull item 11H.
11M and 11H. All right. Other than that, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Mayor Seaman?
Yes.
I'd like to cast a no vote to 11Q.
I'm sorry, say again?
I would like to cast a no vote to 11Q.
11Q, you want a no vote or you want to pull the item for discussion?
Let's
I
pull
just
the
want to
item.
cast that for the record.
Okay, thank you. A no vote on 11Q.
Let's pull the item for a separate vote so that he can cast his no vote.
Very good. All right, 11Q, 11M, and 11...
Mr. City Attorney, it doesn't have to be pulled if someone wants to register a no vote on a
Excuse me.
consent item. Isn't?
That's correct. You don't have to pull it.
That's fine if you think that's more efficient.
Well, I'd like to pull 11Q then.
Very good. So 11Q, 11M, and what else was there? 11H. Very good. Other than that, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
And a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Madam City Clerk, will you take the roll call, please?
Councilmember Francois,
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson,
Aye.
Councilmember Keegan,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Detoy,
Aye.
Mayor Seaman.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great. Thank you. Let's move on to presentations. Madam City Clerk, a presentation?
Item 7A, recognizing Hermosa Beach surfer Morgan Sliff.
Thank you. Would Christian Stutzman please come to the podium?
Hello, everybody. It is my honor to be able to introduce Morgan Sliff. For those of you who do not know Morgan and her journey, she has been born and raised in Hermosa and has always had an affinity for surfing. On July 21st, 2015, she made a goal to surf every day that year. I think it's important to note that this was a deeply personal goal for her. This wasn't meant to be a challenge to anyone else, and she didn't do this for any recognition or money. Rather, she decided she wanted to surf every day that year because she knew how good the ocean was for her and wanted to push herself to take that opportunity each day to enjoy the beautiful waves she has been lucky enough to grow up next to. In her own words, she wanted to take a moment each day as a daily reset to get in the ocean and wash off the day. She may not have always wanted to get out in that water each day, but she found she never regretted a surf session, even on the bad days. Morgan completed her year of surf, but found that she wasn't ready to stop surfing every day. She had been enjoying the streak just too much, and it didn't feel right to end it just yet. Yesterday, July 21st, she surfed her final day of her streak on the day of her 10th consecutive year of surfing. Through good waves and bad, injuries and health, at home and abroad, she dedicated the last 10 years to making sure she could connect with the water each and every day. She inspired so many of us around her, and she has pushed us fellow surfers and ocean-minded individuals to be more active, get in the water more, and to pursue our own passions in the same way that she did hers. Her streak may have come to an end, but she'll still be out in the water most days. You can often find her out in the surf with her ragtag crew of fellow surfers, dubbed the Surf Familia, as we embody the stoke and spirit that Morgan has given us through her streak. Thank you.
Thank you. Morgan, would you come up, please? I would like to present you with this certificate and this surfboard.
Oh my goodness.
Your surfboard. And your certificate. Thank you, and I'd like to read this. Whereas Morgan Sliff was born and raised in Hermosa Beach on Bart Street, next to Clark Field, where she played ball. She has been surfing since childhood, attending View Valley and Miracosta schools. And whereas Morgan did not initially set out to break any records, but after a renewed love for surfing, she soon took up the challenge of surfing every day beginning July 21st, 2015. And Morgan has surfed in Mexico, Nicaragua, El Salvador, and even on Lake Michigan. That's quite a feat, isn't it? Morgan continued to surf through injuries, including a badly sprained AC joint the first year and knee surgery in 2019, where her family carried her out, leg wrapped up on a board every day through her recovery. And Morgan was able to make it through with the support of her surfing associates and family, who kept her spirits high, but just as she got help from others, her example has lifted and touched the lives beyond her own, with well-wishers from Florida to Australia. And Morgan now celebrates her 10-year anniversary of surfing every day and continues to live the dream. She also finds time to give back and help children and find the same love for surfing. Now, therefore, I, Rob Seaman, Mayor City of Hermosa Beach, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby extend our warmest congratulations and official recognition to Hermosa Beach resident Morgan Sliff for her incredible determination and being an inspiration to all. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Okay, now let's move on to item 7B. Madam City Clerk, would you announce the next presentation, please?
Item 7B, Beach Cities Health District Update on Healthy Living Campus.
Oh, great.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Tom Backley, Beach Cities Health District. Good to be in front of you tonight, and well done, Morgan. Wow, makes me proud to live in Hermosa. So I want to give you a quick update on Beach Cities Health District and what we're doing with our campus, the old South Bay Hospital. As most of you know, in 1955, the three cities of Manhattan, Hermosa, and Redondo came together to form the district and build the South Bay Hospital. Operated as a hospital till the late 90s, and for the last 25 years, we've been focusing on preventative health, serving the three beach communities. So what we've done is we've adopted a master plan for that campus, and I'll show you some maps in just a moment. But what we're doing now is we're implementing components of that plan. So you can see that we've implemented the bike path there in Redondo. It was originally intended, and some of the costs associated with this were for it to go through Torrance. Torrance decided to not move forward, so we did complete the bike path in Redondo, and that's been open, and anybody that ever drives on Prospect there in Diamond will see the kids using that bike path. And what's even better is there's a device on the street light there that changes the light when it sees people ready to cross the intersection. That's the south end of the campus there on that second slide. That was an area where you can see the adjacent neighbors. They had concerns about phase 2 of our proposed master plan. That office building there is called the 510 Prospect Building. That building reverts back to the district, back to all of us as taxpayers into the health district in 2030. And so one of the things that we've been doing is we've been planning to move some of our services to that building. So the Center for Health and Fitness are going to move to that building, 510 Prospect. We're also going to have what's called a program for all-inclusive care for the elderly. That will be moving there as well. So that means we're not going to be tearing that down anytime soon and building that. And so that's been a concern of those residents. So we're pleased that we're able to handle some of the uses that we had planned for the health district there in that building. The Center for Health and Fitness will move, and the PACE program will also move. And then want to talk a little bit about Alcove. We're hoping that Alcove will be located on the corner of Prospect and Barrel. And so we're trying to raise additional funds for that. If we are unable to have that happen there, then it would be relocated up to Adventureplex in Manhattan Beach. So we've gone out for a request for interest, expression of interest, an RFEOI, kind of fun to say. And so we're doing that. We're in the process right now of hearing from the development community about what would go on the old hospital site and the parking to the north. And so obviously we're making sure that whatever they do is aligned with the mission and vision of the district. We've been listening to the community, so we've put some restrictions in that RFEOI on height and density and site placement. In previous plans, we had looked at maybe putting buildings along the perimeter of the project. We're now going to put them where the old hospital building is in response to some of the comments we've heard. Potential uses could include residential care for the elderly. That's what we were looking at initially. We've expanded that to also include potentially senior affordable housing or maybe medical office space. So we'll be hearing back on the RFEOI here in August, and then we'll be reporting that as the community assists us with determining what would go there. So just to orient people, we're kind of standing on Prospect right there. Those two buildings in orange are ones that we already have land leases. The one on the right is the one that comes to us in 2030, and then we're looking at getting proposals from the private sector on what could happen with the large white building structure and the parking. Real quick on Alcove, I want to give you a quick update specifically for Hermosa. In the last 3 years, we've had more than 700 visits from young people from Hermosa Beach, with more than 80 of them receiving service. Alcove is a youth mental health facility. We operate it where we cover half the cost and a state grant covers the other half of the cost. You can see the service streams there. A little over 50% of the usage is from Beach City's residents. Some neighbors turn that number around a little bit and talk about 10%. What they've done is just taken the population of the 3 beach cities and divided it by the whole South Bay. That's not what's happening. Our utilization is more than 50% are coming from our constituents of the 3 beach cities. So wanted to just check in with you and give you an update on how we're spending opioid settlement funds. $145,000 in opioid settlement funds comes from Hermosa Beach. And so we've done student assemblies at Hermosa Valley School, parent education events, naloxone training for students, parents, staff, and community. You can see some of the speakers we've had, some of the youth that have spoken on this. And so we are a public distribution point for naloxone and fentanyl test strips are 2 things that we distribute to the youth through Alcove and other facilities. And since October, we've distributed more than 2,800 kits. Maybe all we have for today. So happy to answer any questions you might have. Just want to give you a quick update on the campus and how we're spending the opioid settlement funds that we get from Hermosa.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate your... Thanks, Tom. I appreciate your report. Are there any questions from council? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I'm sure some of the people that have been opposed to the project are happy to hear that we're not going to be tearing down that building, demolition? It's going to be retrofitted and somehow modified to some extent, is that right?
That's correct. Yeah, I would say happier, yeah.
Right. So, but you did have a request for this expression of interest. Could you explain a little bit more about what that is? Did the district board pass this at a meeting? And what does it entail?
Sure. So when you saw the picture of the campus, you see the white old South Bay Hospital building and then the South Tower, which is where Silverado is. So we're doing a request for expression of interest from the development community to take that parcel as well as the parking to the north and develop it, either for assisted living or residential care for the elderly. And then the district, us as the owners of that, would receive a land lease for that, like we've done with other properties on the campus. And so the board has issued this. It's less formal than a request for proposal. It's asking for initial interest. So the idea being try to have private partners come in without spending a lot of money and give us some concepts or ideas for what could go there. And then there would be a formal selection later. So nobody's been selected. We've just put out this request for interest.
Okay, so that wasn't an action passed by the board, but you'll come back with alternatives from that.
Correct. The board did review it at a study session. We took public input, and the community had an opportunity to weigh in on the request for interest before
And then
it went out.
you'll be weighing options that also include not doing a sharing agreement and actually managing the property ourselves.
No, the
district
board has
themselves.
given direction to vacate that building by March of '27. And so we are going to move out of that building. We're going to be moving our functions like the Center for Health and Fitness. We're going to be moving it to the 510 building. So no, that building will either be privately developed, or if we're unable to come to an agreement, we're going to be moving out of it in March of '27 due to seismic concerns.
But when that date happens, you will consider options of keeping the building and reutilizing it to re-rent out space.
Yeah, that'll depend on our partner. We would have a partner that would come in and take over that parcel, would pay us a land lease, and then would operate it.
So the board's already made a decision that that's the
That's the
direction they want to
direction
go
that they
in.
want to go
They do
in.
not, they haven't really analyzed to look at what would be the best option for the district, and they've just decided that that's the direction they want to go in, as opposed to keeping it ownership by the district and reutilizing it by the district.
And we may consider a part ownership, but right now, the board is looking for those particular uses. So a lot of effort, a lot of work has gone into what the uses could be, which could be affordable housing, could be residential care for the elderly, or medical office use. So the board is clear on what the use would be, and they do want to have a partner operate it, do it through a land lease, or perhaps be an investor in it.
Sure. Okay. No, great. Thank you. And just one more, well, there were two more comments. We had a letter from a member of the public. Is there a way that we can get more demographic information to show how much each of the three cities contribute towards the district and how much it's being utilized by the residents of the three cities? It would help to have more demographic information in the future to
Sure.
help us understand how each city is benefiting from the taxes that we contribute towards the district.
Happy to do that.
And then there was also a comment made about, and I don't know, it's out there. Is there any consideration of us coming up with a health department that could be run by the three cities as opposed to being under the county? Because, you know, when COVID came along, there were a lot of dislinks between our communities and being dictated and run by the county. I'm just wondering if there's any type of consideration or thought process that might go into considering a health, Beach CHD running a health department that would encompass the three cities, or maybe four, I don't know.
Yeah, we did look at that during the pandemic. We provide maybe 50% of the services that a health department would typically provide, is what we saw looking at this 5 years ago. So it would be significant cost increase to expand to a health department, but that is something that we did look at during the pandemic, and if the council would like, we can send that over to you. we did an analysis for the league. We did an
Okay.
analysis for
Great. Thank you very much.
the
Thank you.
COG, sorry.
Any further questions? Yes, Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the briefing. Tom, much appreciated. I'm glad you highlighted the Beach City Health Center, the Alcove Center, and the Hermosa Beach Youth Participation. I know that our Parks and Rec is certainly interested in having discussions. We've had talks ourselves about creating a potential satellite teen center, at least something in the city where we can help support the mental health of our youth that is needed
Right.
today more than ever. So I appreciate you highlighting that. And if there's anything we can do to help support that initiative, much appreciated.
Yeah, we've been pleased with the participation, over 50% coming from the 3 beach cities. That's very high for the number of people that we serve, so.
There definitely is. And if there's an opportunity for us to create a satellite-like campus, I think that would be great because I think the numbers would be increased exponentially if we
Yeah,
were able
we'd
to
be
do that.
interested in talking about that.
So,
Yeah.
thank you, sir.
Great.
Thank you so much, Tom. I appreciate it. Madam City Clerk, will you read item 7A, please?
Item 7C, Hermosa Beach Chamber of Commerce provides Fiesta Hermosa recap.
Thank you. Michelle Crispin and Emily Martinez, would you come up, please? Hi, welcome.
Hi. I'm not that tall. All right. Hi, Mayor Seaman, Mayor Pro Tem DeToy, council members, and city staff. My name is Millie Martinez. I'm the membership director at the Hermosa Beach Chamber. This is Michelle, the president. And I will be, presenting a recap on Fiesta Hermosa. Next slide. All right, so just a brief event overview. Fiesta Hermosa happened Memorial Day weekend, like it has for the past 50-something years, May 24th to 26th. The duration, all the very specific times are in there, but we did actually explore different area time openings and earlier closing times for Monday. I will say that we will likely go back to earlier opening for the carnival just based on attendee feedback. The parents were really itching to get on the rides at 11 a.m. Or the kids, I guess. The location was downtown Hermosa, and you can see an overview footprint of it with the carnival on Upper Pier, as well as the wine garden right near Uncorked. Going down Pier Avenue, we have a lot of stages, but let me focus on the areas. We have the Makers Mercado going up and down Hermosa Avenue from 14th Street to 11th Street. As well as going down Pier Avenue. That features over 200 vendors. We have the garden, otherwise known as the beer garden, down on Lot A, as well as the food fair on 11th Street. The bicycle corral down at the beach, so folks are encouraged to use not only public transportation, but also ride their bike. And then we have all the different stages, which includes the carnival stage, the Java Man stage, acoustic, and the garden stage. We did have to remove the beach concert, but we decided to upgrade the garden stage because of that and included the acoustic stage on Pier Plaza, as well as had a silent disco provided by World of Sound Productions on Saturday to provide more music to our event goers. Next slide. Event highlights. So we had over 235 vendors and exhibitors. This includes food vendors, outside vendors that are invited and apply, as well as local businesses that pop up. Thanks to our event producer, Kim Ruggles, we continue to curate a list of high quality and unique vendors to attract the desired attendance to Hermosa and offer a fun shopping experience. A conservative estimate of over 100K attendees over the past 3 days in Hermosa, which is amazing. And another highlight is, like I mentioned, the upgraded garden. It was a $10 day cover, but we included popular tribute bands this year, and boy, did the public really like it. We also had a lot more yard games for people to enjoy, as well as a cocktail bar and some brand activations included in it. So, yeah, moving on. In terms of community engagement, as always, as a nonprofit, the heart of the chamber is our volunteers, whether it's our volunteer board of directors, our regular volunteers, or event volunteers. They really come through, so we just want to give a big shout out to them. I know I saw Dean with his orange shirt for 3 days volunteering, so I appreciate that. We had 8 nonprofits and community orgs, whether through providing entertainment, like through the South Bay Music Connection, again, volunteer assistance, or just popping up. We continue to prioritize and partner with local organizations because this is a local event. So, yeah. And then in terms of local business participation, we always prioritize our local breweries and wineries for the garden, as well as we had some businesses step up and help support and have this fiesta actually happen. So Lighthouse really came in and supported us with the garden stage, so we appreciate that. The overall feedback from the community seemed positive. We always take constructive feedback into account and continue to improve, particularly if they're Hermosa residents. The top 2 notable feedback I heard was they loved the new rides in the carnival, and the garden was a hit, especially because of the tribute bands. Next slide. In terms of business feedback, we did send a survey to our business list and members. I put up some comments up there. The feedback was overwhelmingly positive, noting the boost in sales during the weekend and general community feel. However, there continues to be mixed opinions, usually depending on type or location of business, about having an additional fiesta for Labor Day or even a smaller event in that weekend. I do want to remind everyone that we are producing Locale and 9254 Oktoberfest for the 3rd year this year on September 27th to encourage foot traffic during the off-season months when our businesses tend to struggle a little bit more. Moving on. In terms of opportunities for growth, we did want to improve the 88 parking signage. I worked the info booth one of those days, and I remember there was a little bit of a mix-up there, so I want to make sure that our folks that need that parking know exactly where to go, as well as just having clear signage directing people to different areas throughout the event footprint. We want to expand the cashless system by integrating reloadable cards, so instead of having a drink ticket or a carnival ticket, possibly doing cards where the attendees themselves can actually load onto it. Makes it a lot easier, and then you don't lose their tickets. We also want to partner with the city to utilize the newly acquired barricades and enhance public safety and reduce event costs. And lastly, we want to expand tourism marketing to reach beyond the typical attendees, driving increased visitation and boosting overnight stays, because we know our hotels would appreciate that. Me and Michelle are available for any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Are there any questions from council? Please.
Thank you. What a great event. I, as always, enjoy working there as a volunteer. Unlike other events that aren't big money makers, do you have any idea how much the chamber made for this event?
We did okay, despite costs going up almost across the board, 10 to 15% on nearly every line item. We did okay. We broke a couple of records, especially in the garden. The garden really seemed to appeal to a lot of people this year.
So you made a good profit for the chamber.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
And of course you did save some money because you moved the concerts away from the beach. I guess the
Correct.
expenses turned out to be a lot more than what you were expecting.
That's right. That's right. We did invest some of that money into the garden for upgrades, for upgraded bands and facilities. But yes, we did save quite a bit of money for not having the beach concert this year.
But you'd saved like what?
Around 50,000.
50,000 you saved by now. It's just expensive to put them on the sand. Is that?
It is, yeah. And really the feedback, I'm supposed to be on microphone right now, aren't I? Sorry. The feedback that we got from the businesses was almost unanimously positive. It seemed like it really boosted people to not be pulled away to the beach, to, kind of pushed everybody onto the footprint of downtown. So I think it was the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, I always heard comments that people like it on the beach, and we have some other concerts going on the beach, but the more the better. I mean, more the better. And I don't know, maybe there's a way to share that cost with other beach functions on that same stage at the same time, or ways to look into that in the future. But that might be a way to do it.
Well, you know me, I want music everywhere. So.
Okay, there you go. All right, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your presentation. We appreciate the recap. If there are no more other questions, I appreciate your time here. Thank you.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Bye. May we have a city manager's report?
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a few items. If you're driving down PCH, And you see some yellow ribbon around the Vetter Windmill at Greenwood Park. That is because it's temporarily closed to ensure public safety. An engineering report identified serious structural concerns, and our Public Works team has addressed the immediate hazard by closing off the area as they work to safely remove the windmill's upper structure. And that means the July 28th Blue Star Memorial Ceremony, which was previously planned to take place at Greenwood Park, on Monday will be relocated to the lawn in front of the community center. Additional updates and next steps will be shared as more information becomes available. Also want to bring attention to Chief Phillips' badge pinning ceremony this Thursday. We would invite the community to join us in celebrating a special milestone, our own police chief, Landon Phillips' badge pinning ceremony. The event will take place at 10 a.m. on Thursday, July 24th at the Hermosa Beach Community Theater. All are welcome to attend. We do ask that you kindly RSVP to Maria Calvento at, oh boy, I'm giving out emails, mcalvento@hermosabeach.gov. Please do that if you plan to attend. And lastly, we've got National Night Out on August 5th. This annual community building event is a great opportunity to connect with neighbors and meet the community safety personnel who keep our city safe. If you're interested in hosting a National Night Out event in your neighborhood, please contact Community Services Officer Randy Fujisaki at rfujisaki@hermosabeach.gov. And that's it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Madam City Clerk, do we have any public comment cards in person only?
Hi, Mayor, we do, and we will be opening up public comment for virtual as well, since we have Councilmember Keegan joining virtually. First, we have Sarah Harper, and Sarah, you will be limited to 2 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, residents of Hermosa Beach. I'm here to make some announcements about upcoming library events. First of all, our Summer Discovery Program is quickly coming to an end. August 10th is the last day to get in your Summer Discovery Challenge cards, either online or on paper, and to be entered for our end of summer drawings, sponsored by our Hermosa Beach Friends of the Library. And we have some great events coming up in July and August. For our teens, tomorrow at 3 p.m., we have our duct tape water bottle holder, especially for ages 13 to 17. On Wednesday, August 13th, we will have a memory frames project. Think about some of your favorite memories from the past summer, and then decorate a special frame to hold a photograph or artwork of your memory so you can remember it all year long, especially for ages 13 to 17. For our kids, we are once again having Eric Hernandez, Native American hoop dancer, on Wednesday, July 30th at 3 p.m. He is a member of the Lumbee tribe of North Carolina with over 20 years of hoop dance experience, and he is known for his time with Cirque du Soleil, touring over 20 countries, sharing his hoop dancing, and this is generously sponsored by our friends of Hermosa Beach, or Hermosa Beach Friends of the Library. And then on Wednesday, August 6th at 3 p.m., we will have Let's Get Organized. Get ready for school and get organized by decorating your own desk organizer, especially for ages 5 to 12. And I haven't forgotten about our adults. We have our book club coming up on Tuesday, August 7th at 10:30. Join us for a lively discussion of There Are Rivers in the Sky by Elise Sharfak. Books are available for checkout at the library. And then on Wednesday, August 13th at 6 p.m., we will have Mindfulness with Agia. Learn how to develop resilience to stress and the ability to manage stress in a healthier manner by taking part in experiential mindfulness moments and meditations. And that's generously sponsored by our Hermosa Beach Friends of the Library. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Jim.
Good evening again. I know what it's like to live in a sea of short-term rentals firsthand. In 2005, after a decade in living in my Strand condo, I woke up one morning to find 10 short-term rentals just outside of my front door. 4 of 6 in my building, 3 next door, and 3 behind. At first, I thought the quality of my life was over. I believed everything that STR opponents say: noise, traffic, strangers, rowdy parties. I confess, I was a NIMBY, but within weeks it became a complete non-issue and forgotten. I lived peacefully there for 5 more years. Then, due to financial constraints, I made my Strand condo a legal STR for 6 years, until the 2016 ordinance shut it down, causing severe economic harm. So if you're looking for someone who lived in a sea of STRs and ran one successfully, I'm your guy. You're now being sued for violating the Coastal Act, and based on precedent and injunction, you will lose. No matter how you feel about STRs, the Coastal Act requires a certified process, not just passing an ordinance and hoping it will stick. And where were all the World Cup and Olympic visitors stay? Hermosa has under 200 coastal zone hotel rooms with no time to build more. Don't you want them staying here and spending money here? Thank you.
Thank you.
My wife is from Japan, and she feels more comfortable speaking in Japanese, and I will translate afterwards.
こんにちは。3月にカウンセルマン・ジャクションさんは、ハモサビーチには148の STR 対象物件がありますと発言しました。でもその数字だけでは意味がありません。コスタルコミッションが重視するのは実際に海の近くでアクセスできる STR があるかどうかです。今の条例では STR は、商業物件にしか許可されていません。しかしその区域の中では許可されているのはたった20件。それはハモサビーチの全体の 0.2% 未満です。なぜそんなに少ないのか、線引きが少なすぎるからです。ザストランドの住宅はすべて住宅地にあり、対象外だからです。コスタルコミッションはサンタバーバラなどの判例で理論上の許可ではなく実際の利用可能性が必要だとしています。ジャクソンさんは STR の長期賃貸に変えれば住宅価格が下がると言いましたが、でもストランドの何百万ドルの、住宅がそれで手頃になるのでしょうか。空き家になるだけです。ハモサビーチはエンシナーダ、マリブ、パシフィックグローブのようにザストランドだけを STR 対象物件にすることができます。すでに STR 許可と TOT の制度もあり、拡張できます。市全体を対象にする必要はありません。家族が料理、洗濯をして一緒に滞在できる家を海の近くに少しだけ用意をすれば十分です。今のハモサビーチの STR 対策は実際的には全面禁止です。それが訴訟の原因であり、私たちは負けるでしょう。もっとシンプルな方法があり、ザ・ストランドのみに許可し、数を制限すればいいのです。ありがとうございました。
Good evening. Last month, Councilman Jackson publicly stated that Hermosa Beach has 148 potential STR eligible properties in prime real estate. But that number is meaningless without context. The Coastal Commission doesn't care how many homes could be STRs. It is whether the ordinance truly allows access on or near the coast and meets actual visitor demand. And if that 300 illegal STR number is true, that proves there's a real demand. Currently, Hermosa permits STR only in the commercial zone, which also extends beyond the coastal area. And out of the commercial zone, only 20 properties have STR permits. That's less than 0.2% of the city, and it hasn't changed in years. Why is that number so low? Because of the current boundaries drawn so narrowly, 148 eligible homes aren't nearly enough to meet the Commission's expectation for real access. Maybe people there want to live in their own homes. Maybe they like their long-term renters. Maybe landlords don't want to deal with the hassles of renting their home short-term. The Commission already ruled in Santa Cruz and Santa Barbara cases that STRs can't be just allowed in theory. The current ordinance provides no legal pathway for coastal zone homeowners in residential areas to obtain an STR permit or remit TOT. Even beachfront strand homes are excluded under the current ordinance since they're all zoned residential, effectively excluding every beachfront property. Yet the Commission's guidance is clear. Coastal access must include areas closest to the beach, not zone them out. Last March, Councilman Jackson also publicly pushed to convert all STRs to long-term housing in order to lower housing costs. Councilman Jackson, are you saying that multi-million-dollar strand homes will suddenly be affordable for everyone simply by banning STRs? No, they'll simply sit empty most of the year as someone's second home. The good news is that Hermosa can do this without rezoning single-family neighborhoods. The commercial zone where STRs are allowed already contain most of the city's attractions. The Pier, Pier Plaza, restaurants, bar, retail, transit. Hermosa already has a functioning permit and TOT collection system, and it's ready to scale. Cities like Laguna Beach, Ensenada, Malibu, Pismo Beach, and Pacific Grove created beach-adjacent STR overlay zones, all approved by the Commission.
Sir, I'm sorry, time's up.
This is like
I beg.
Your 1 minute
No, I'm
passed.
sorry. Your 1 minute passed. I
Oh,
gave you I gave you one whole extra minute.
Was that? Okay.
Thank you.
I
Thank
can't-
you.
I can't finish what she said? Okay.
I'm sorry. Thank you very much.
The usual time is 2 minutes for general public comment, and we provided 4 minutes. Next, we have Jaime, or Jamie.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Jamie Pagliano. I've been a resident of the South Bay for 42 years. I'm representing a group of South Bay residents who are opposed to advertising and painted lifeguard towers. When did the county ask permission from Hermosa about advertising? If you don't oppose now, then this will be approval in the future. Please keep Hermosa, Hermosa. Don't sell Hermosa's beach out to corporations. Preserving coastal charm. Advertising and painted towers disrupts the natural beauty of iconic lifeguard towers and undermines the laid-back beach town vibe that makes these areas special. Tourism appeal of Hermosa's blue towers. Hermosa Beach benefits from the distinctive blue lifeguard towers, which are known worldwide from movies and TV shows. They attract visitors seeking picturesque, Instagram-worthy coastal scenes. Preserving this aesthetic supports local tourism. Not to mention the positive press this will drive for Hermosa when you decide to preserve our blue lifeguard towers for the years to come. Revenue will still flow without Hermosa's participation. With 125 lifeguard towers targeted for painting and advertising, exempting Hermosa won't reduce overall program funding. The city still benefits indirectly from surrounding beach cities. Visual pollution concerns, ads and painted towers clutter the skyline and clash with public art, local architecture, and the natural palette of the beach environment. Photographers and videographers will no longer shoot the towers due to the ad pollution, eliminating free press for Hermosa Beach. Again, you will obtain way more free press keeping the iconic blue towers. Do we really need more commercialization, more advertisements, more in-our-face marketing and billboards at a place where we go to rest and relax and enjoy open scenery and get away from it all? Misleading revenue allocation. Since advertising revenue reportedly goes to youth ocean programs, not to Hermosa Beach or its residents, there's minimal direct community benefit. Distraction from safety infrastructure. Lifeguard towers serve as a critical role in beach safety. Ads and painted towers obscure signage and detract from the focus on lifeguard functions. They turn the lifeguard towers into attractions and entertainment versus their purpose, public safety. With the goal of safety in mind, why not have a diagram of a rip current and how to exit, like the Torrance substation? We should be educating instead of advertising and painting first responder structures.
Excuse me. Pardon me.
Hermosa as a cultural standout. By opting out, Hermosa Beach positions itself as a steward of preserving authentic beach culture, one that prioritizes experience and community over commercialization. Please take the time to consider the full impact of this decision. It affects everyone who relies on our coastline for safety, access, enjoyment. Let's lead with care and commitment to public well-being and preserve these iconic structures. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Elka Warner.
Point of privilege, Mr. Mayor. Would it help to inform the public that if they want to speak on this item, we pulled it from the consent calendar, they would have 3 minutes to speak when it comes up, but if they bring it up now during public, then they won't have that opportunity
Appreciate
later.
that. Thank
Okay,
you.
sure.
Good evening. I'm here to talk about the ads as well. I don't know how many of you have seen the ads on the lifeguard towers. Everything from Coca-Cola to Hulu shows like The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, The Kardashians, and Dance Moms. 2 of the towers are even painted Hulu green. LA County Fire has already expanded the number and size of the ads plastered on towers from Cabrillo Beach to Zuma Beach. The problem is they didn't get permission from the Coastal Commission to put them up. Now they're requesting an after-the-fact approval. Our city manager has written a letter to the commission asking it deny that permit. I strongly support the city's effort to push back on this crass commercialization of our beaches. We're already bombarded with ads on our phones, TVs, and on the streets. No need to advertise on our beaches. It's a place to relax and escape the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Back in the 60s, Lady Bird Johnson spearheaded a campaign to reduce the number of billboards on our nation's highways. She understood that outdoor advertising would spoil the raw beauty of America. These ads will spoil the raw beauty of our beaches. If it were up to me, I'd take them all down. Thank you for doing the right thing.
Thank you.
Mayor, we do not have any other speaker cards for general public comment.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Would you like to move over to Zoom?
Yes, please.
If you are joining via Zoom, now is the time to raise your virtual hand to speak on general public comment, which is allowed for this meeting. And Mayor, we do not have any virtual hands raised.
All right, thank you so much. I'll close public comment then and move on to item number 10, City Council member comments. Any comments from City Council?
Are we going over the pulled?
Beg your pardon?
Are we going over the?
Not yet.
Okay.
Comments?
Sorry.
Do you have any comments? No? Any comments from anyone? Councilman Jackson? No? All right, no comments. Let's move on to updates from City Council ad hoc subcommittees, standing committee delegates, and alternates. Any reports from any subcommittees?
I'll just state quickly, I attended the County Library Commission meeting last week. I'm a delegate representing the region at the Library Commission. Thank you.
Okay. Nope. I would like to make a report on the LA County Sanitation District. There was a collapse of a tunnel that they were digging. It's for a pipeline that takes treated water from a treatment plant approximately 5 miles out to a spot in, I believe, San Pedro, where it goes to 2 miles out to sea to unload the treated water. There was a collapse in one of the sections of pipe. A large amount of mud went into. The pipe is 18 feet across. It's very large, about a little smaller than this room, if you can imagine a pipe that large. And the mud that came in through the sides, water and dirt, came in through the sides and blocked it almost to the top, about 6 feet from the top of an 18-foot high pipe. There were 32 workmen inside. They all got out safely. And at this point, construction has stopped on the pipeline until they can figure out what to do about this weak spot. They're not sure if it was the pipe itself that was miscast, perhaps, or the way it was assembled. There's several sections to go together to make a ring of sorts, and those sections are joined together as they progress horizontally. So for the moment, the pipeline is being halted while they determine what happened. And then I'm sure in the coming weeks or months, they'll determine what to do, fix the problem, and then move on to complete the pipeline. But I thought you all might want to know about that. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Nothing else then? Yeah, I want to report on this, the report. Okay, so are there no other updates from anyone else? We will move on to the consent calendar, number 11. We have 3 items that have been pulled. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar other than 11M, 11H, and 11Q?
We already did that, didn't we? Already approved
We pulled them, we haven't approved it yet.
Motion to approve the balance, and then is there an appetite to hear them after the public hearings?
Beg your pardon?
Is there an appetite to hear them after the public hearings?
I don't mind that. Is there,
I'll second that.
would you like to, including after the public hearings? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any reason you want to do that?
Doesn't
We
matter.
didn't bring it up when
It's
we
been
approved
moved
the
and seconded
agenda.
and-
Well, we already approved the agenda, that's all.
Madam City Clerk, would you call a vote, please?
Councilmember Francois,
Yeah.
Councilmember Keegan,
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Detoy,
Aye.
Mayor Seaman,
Aye.
motion carries.
All right, let's move on to public hearings then. Public hearings review delinquent solid waste collection refuse charges.
Thank you, Your Honor. This item will be presented by Doug Kraus, our Environmental Programs Manager.
Public hearings are now open.
Good evening, everyone. So this is the public hearing to review the delinquent solid waste collection charges. This is an annual process described in our municipal code. Annually, as of March 31st each year, people that are delinquent get notices from Athens Services that they are delinquent. And we notify them multiple times leading up to this meeting. The city works with Athens on this process. And then the ultimate destination for these is potential liens assessed on the properties. And that's done through LA County Assessor's Office. So the initial notice is sent in April. We've posted or published notices of the hearings, the administrative hearing and this public hearing in the Easy Reader. And after tonight, any of these customers have till August 1st to resolve any delinquent bills. This year, we have about 70 accounts that are delinquent. We also charge a $14 per account fee. That's a city fee, and the county itself charges $50 overall, and then a quarter per property, so a total of $68 in fees. The city will then work with a consultant to get these into LA County Assessor for the liens. Public hearing is right now. Again, there was an administrative hearing in June, so staff is recommending hold the public hearing and then adopt a resolution authorizing and requesting the county assessor to place the refuse charges as a special assessment on the LA County tax roll. And with that, I'm here for any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Kraus. Is there any questions from council? Yes, Councilman Detoy.
Thank you. How does it work? We had the one public commenter who recently purchased the home who showed up on the delinquent bills. How does it work when it's two previous owners or?
It's it's all based on that timing. So if there's a delinquents on that March 31st date, that's when they get the notice. A new owner is not responsible for previous. So, I've had a few calls on that, and I walk them through it, and then especially a new owner would just contact Athens, set up a new account, and start fresh, so to speak.
Okay, thank you.
That brings up a question I have. Can that delinquent, the delinquent bills be paid through escrow? In other words, if you sell a house, the new person is not responsible, obviously, but the old person is. How can they go ahead and close it out when there's still a delinquent bill?
That is a good question. I don't have an answer for that, but I can get back to you on that.
Do we collect it in any way? Is there a way to collect it, period?
Yeah, I would have to get back to you on that. I don't know. Yeah.
Right, thank you. I'd be interested to find out if there is a way to put that through. Okay, any other questions? No? No other questions? All right. Thank you so much, Doug.
No
Appreciate
problem.
you. Let's open this up to public comment, to in-person and in Zoom. Madam City Clerk, do we have anyone?
Mayor, we did not receive any speaker cards for this item. If you're joining via Zoom and would like to speak on this item, now is the time to raise your virtual hand. Mayor, we do not have any virtual hands raised.
All right, very good. I'll close public comment then and bring it back to council. Is there a motion? Do I hear a motion or any other comment or question?
I'll move staff recommendation.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. Madam City Clerk.
And so we're closing the public hearing?
Yes.
Okay,
close
public hearing is now closed. Councilmember Francois?
Yes.
Councilmember Keegan? Oh, Councilmember Keegan?
Why don't we go on? Do we?
Yes.
Oh,
There we go.
Councilmember Jackson?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Detoy?
Aye.
Mayor Seaman?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, item 12B.
Your item, this will be presented by Public Works Director Joe San Clemente.
Thank you.
This is the public hearing on the annual levy of sewer charges on the property tax roll.
It's a public hearing on the annual levy of sewer charges on the public property tax rolls. And the public hearing is open.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Council. Pleased to present this item before you tonight. So this is an annual process to place on the tax roll. It's something that's been ongoing since the establishment of the sewer service charge that was created in fiscal year 2015. These fees that are collected through the assessment cover all of our operational costs, including regular routine maintenance, servicing, and the design and construction of our capital investments to continue to enhance and maintain our overall system. Each year, we are allowed to increase per consumer price index that's capped at 5%. So each year we do look based on the CPIW, that is the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. That's what index it's tied to. This year, that index was tied to a 3.5% increase, and so the annual increase will be 3.5 as it is within that 5% cap. So the new annual service charge, which is based on equivalent service units for residential and non-residential properties, is about $147. Notices were mailed out to all property owners. An image of that is shown on the right-hand side, as well as advertisement in the local newspaper for the public hearing. This table shows what the equivalent service unit charge increases would be. For comparison, a single-family home with that 3.5% increase is about $5 more per property per year. And there's a different rate depending on the property type, whether it's a condo or multifamily or vacant. And then there is a different fee for non-residential uses, such as commercial, which are all tied to water usage. The ways that the methodology for the creation of the underlying fees was something that was developed as part of when the sewer charge was created back in 2015. Tonight is really only looking at the increase that would be put onto the tax roll. There is an eligibility for a full 100% rebate for seniors that meet certain income criteria, as well as those that are permanently disabled. So folks can apply for those if they do wish to try to meet that criteria. Tonight, before you, the recommendations are to conduct a public hearing related to assessing the annual sewer levy on the property tax roll for the upcoming fiscal year. Determine if there is a majority protest, and if there is no protest, then make a finding that there is no protest and that we can advance to put this on the tax rolls and adopt the associated resolution. That concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you so much, Joe. Are there any questions of staff?
I think
Nope. Yes.
we know the answer to this, but I assume there was no majority protest.
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that. Any other questions? All right. Open the public comment then to all persons in person and in Zoom. Madam City Clerk.
Mary, we do not have any speaker cards for item 12B. If you are joining via Zoom, now is the time to raise your virtual hand. And we do not see any virtual hands raised at this time.
Nope. Going once, twice, three times? All right, then I'll close the public comment and bring this back to council for any further discussion or a motion.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilman Detoy.
I move that we find that there was not a majority protest and we adopt resolution in attachment 1 approving the engineer's report and attachment 2 authorizing the placement of sewer service charges on the annual county Los Angeles tax roll.
Thank you. I'll second that. Is there any deliberation on the motion? Make any changes? Call the question, please, Madam Clerk.
So the public hearing is now closed. Councilmember Francois?
Yes.
Councilmember Keegan?
Aye.
Councilmember Jackson?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Detoy?
Aye.
Mayor Seaman?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right. Before we move on to municipal matters, let's go back to the consent calendar. We have 3 items that were pulled. Item 11, let's take 11H in alphabetical order, 11H first.
Item 11H, Planning Commission tentative future agenda items.
11H, Planning Commission meeting.
Councilmember Jackson pulled it. He just stepped out.
H? I pulled it.
H?
H.
Okay.
11H, Planning Commission, future tentative agenda items. You want me to just?
Yes, please.
Okay. I pulled it because I noticed in the future agenda items, the land value recapture is listed but not slated for a date yet, and this was something that our council brought up several months ago, at least, to refer to the Planning Commission. I was just wondering what the status of that is. Thank you. Hi.
Good evening, council members. Allison Becker, the Community Development Director. That item at this point is slated for a meeting in the fall.
In the fall, meaning September, October, or November?
Yes.
Okay.
More likely September or October. We want to either schedule it as maybe a special meeting, and definitely want to make sure that given the other cases that are on our docket, that we give it ample time.
Right, yeah, I've noticed that things are kind of getting backed up and put off lately, so I didn't know whether it would make sense at all, and Mr. City Manager, if you could chime in, because we did refer this to go to Planning Commission, which was the step to go in, but if we wanted to take a look at the fee structure, that would be something that we could take up directly at the council level, and maybe that would expedite some of our concerns. Is that something that we could bring up sooner at the council level?
That would be a decision of council, but I think that the Planning Commission would probably like to see it all together.
The fees as well? Okay, I thought maybe the fees is something that the council would go.
Yes, certainly the council at the end of the day does have the authority to establish fees. However, the fee that's associated with the land value recapture is associated with an affordable housing financing strategy that is tied into our overall affordable housing production strategy, which is a part of our housing element. So it's kind of knit in.
Right. So this is actually part of the housing element, so therefore, is that also a reason why it's better to hold off on it until we've had that annual review that's upcoming? Is that
Yes, thank you. I mean, my intention is to present an update to the commission this fall, kind of giving a status report of where we are with housing element implementation.
Yeah. And Councilmember, I think the Planning Commission would want to be able to take input on the impact of the fees that are there now and the amount of them.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. Anything else?
That's all.
Any other questions? No, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on to 11M. Oh, I'm sorry, we have public comment on this item? Excuse me.
We do not have any, we do have one virtual hand raised. John Davis, your 3 minutes will begin once you're unmuted.
Yes, hi. Thank you very much for taking this call. Yeah, I appreciate that Councilman Member Francois brought that up. Yeah, I would like to see the fees adjust ahead of time, because I feel like the reviewing the program overall, it's turning into a very lengthy process. And the fees can be just set by council resolution. And as far as the affordability component or the affordable housing, some of the lots aren't even on the I guess the lot chart as affordable. They're in the program, but they weren't intended to be affordable. So, I think it'd be great if you could just look at the fees at least have that conversation, and then in front of the Planning Commission, look at the overall structure, what should be changed, maybe eliminated. It's just a much longer process. In the meantime, there's some important things that are getting blocked. So I appreciate that.
Great, thank you, John David. Is there any other public comment, Madam City Clerk?
We do not have any other virtual hands raised.
I'm sorry, did you say there are no more? Okay, great. All right, so I'll close public comment then. So does that satisfy your question about it?
It does mostly, although the speaker just brought up a point. Are the properties we're talking about under the land value recapture, are they part of the properties that are considered affordable in the housing element, or are they not? Because if they weren't, then I guess the housing element wouldn't be related to the land value recapture.
The land value recapture program is identified as an affordable housing development strategy in the housing element. Staff has done, a cursory review to evaluate whether or not the adjustment of fees for small properties would impact the overall kind of capacity of the program. And if you were to exempt small parcels from the program, you would eliminate approximately 40% of the total number of parcels that are identified on the housing inventory. So that is a significant impact that would need to be, discussed with HCD. So in other words, we're kind of, we are responding to the request of council doing analysis, and we will present the full picture to commission and then to council this fall.
Okay, 40%, what is the 40% figure represent? That land value recapture represents 40% of the small properties? No.
So the question is, can you eliminate fees for properties that meet a certain criteria, right? And we're going to call them small, right? Which is under a certain square footage per parcel. And when you do the mapping of our sites inventory, is what it's called in the housing element, you see that approximately 40% of the total number of parcels fall into this category of small, which is 5,000 square feet or less.
In the commercial zone? Because that's where
for our entire inventory.
Right, but I believe that this land value recapture is related to the commercial zone, isn't it?
Correct.
So,
So the vast majority of parcels for our site's inventory are in the commercial zone.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Francois, I have one quick question. So when this does come up, will this come before council first, or will it go back to the planning commission first of all? For discussion and a public hearing?
The suggestion from Councilmember Keegan, which was seconded by Councilmember Francois, asked the staff to present to Planning Commission.
Okay.
Right.
Great.
I was simply, I was suggesting that the fee structure can be brought directly to the council earlier than that, but I guess the viewpoint that we've been given is that it's all part of the mix.
Right.
So,
It's
okay.
It's an integrated policy. It's an integrated program. And so adjusting one piece of the program has consequences that need to be evaluated and then presented. And that includes a presentation to our reviewer, which is HCD.
And that will happen when it comes back in the fall.
Staff
Right.
recommends a global view
Rather than
by
this
Planning
evening.
Commission.
Right. I mean, the council still could activate it sooner for the fees, but basically the advisement here is to not do that.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. All right. Then let's move on to item 11.
Mayor,
Oh, excuse me, public comment?
You can take
No,
a
let's
vote.
just have a vote.
Motion to.
Excuse me, Mayor?
Excuse me.
Mayor?
Yes. Councilman Keegan.
Also, I wanted to point out to the planning director that while it's 40% of the total property count, it'd be helpful to know what percentage of the total land area it is. In other words, it could be 40% of the parcel count, but only 20% of the land, or 10%. We don't know how that's skewed by giving each parcel a number. It would be more helpful to know if these small lots comprised what percentage of all the properties in land space, square footage.
Yes, Councilmember Keegan, thank you for that question. I'm not prepared to, I'm speaking without notes, so it would be much better if we presented the entire analysis thoroughly when it's ready.
I just want that pointed out to the planning commission, if I could, please.
Of course, yes, of course, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's move on then to item.
You need a vote on that item, Your Honor.
Are we going to, I thought we were going to approve all of these at once.
I move to receive and file.
Second.
Very good. Moved and seconded. Madam City Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Francois?
Yes.
Councilmember Keegan?
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Detoy?
Aye.
Mayor Seaman?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Thank you. Now let's move on to,
Next, you have item 11M, approval of agreement with the Hermosa Beach Kiwanis Club to provide its annual tree lot.
is there public comment?
Your Honor, just to point out, Community Resources Director Lisa Nichols could not be here tonight, was pulled away for a family matter. This is a recommendation to approve a 3-year agreement with the Hermosa Beach Kiwanis Club. They've been doing this for 35 years. This is their annual tree lot. This would cover the years 2025 through 2027. I believe the yearly rent is $5,000. The cost actually for the permit to do it is $5,000. And then there's a $2,700 in total for rent of some storage there for their all that they need to do to conduct this on a yearly basis.
Thank you. I pulled this item because I wanted to discuss the possibility of I think the $5,000 for the rental of the yard is fine, but the $225 a month or $2,700 per year for the garage, I would like to see that fee waived because Kiwanis Club has been paying for the maintenance on that garage for many years. I believe the Kiwanis Club built that unit in the first place. No, did not? Okay. But nonetheless, they have been doing the maintenance on it for many years. So Would like to see that one small change to this item. Mr.
My turn?
Yes,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Koenig, would you
Thank
please?
you, Mr. Mayor, Honorable Council, City Manager. Next year, the Kiwanis Club of Hermosa Beach will be celebrating 100 years in Hermosa Beach. Got our charter in 1926. Since then, the club has provided hundreds of thousands of community service hours and literally millions of dollars that have been reinvested into our city. In my 25 years as a member, I have seen firsthand the difference a group of dedicated, like-minded individuals can make. We do good work. Today, I stand here with my hand out, asking for assistance with our ongoing mission to make our community a better place, as we have been doing for almost a century. What I'm asking for costs you nothing. I am asking for you to agree to forgive the future storage fees that we have been paying for the past few years. It really is the right thing to do. As you can see from the documents that I copied for all of you, the last few years have been devastating for us from a net profit standpoint. In 2019, our net profit was about almost 23%, which equated to about $70,000, which was distributed to roughly 50 charities and recipients. And in addition to that, we also provide 40-plus scholarships every single year. Due to safety mandates, increased costs for trees, trucking, and hard costs for supplies and services, our net profit margin has been cut almost in half to 12.51% as of last year. We had to make some difficult decisions recently and use money from our reserves, which is not usually a very good idea, because we have a 501c3 nonprofit status, and 100% of our profits go towards being reinvested back into our community. We are able to continue and go forward with our mission. Historically, over the last 38 years, up until a few years ago, the city of Hermosa Beach provided us with off-season storage at no cost whatsoever. Originally, it was the vacant Prospect Avenue School up by Fort Lots of Fun. And for the last dozen or so years, the current location, which is sharing a small portion of the same structure that houses the Hermosa Beach Friends of the Library on the community center campus. I am asking that you give your blessing to amend our license agreement to remove the annual storage fee noted on page 2, item 4, line 6, denoting a $225 per month fee. For the record, we have made improvements to the inside of this building and have paid to have the garage door fixed when minor vandalism occurred. And we can use that money to provide 5 or 6 more scholarships to local students this year. We're all here to make the community a better place. Please help us do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Nope. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other public comment, Madam City Clerk?
We did not receive any other speaker cards. If you are joining via Zoom, now is the time to raise your virtual hand. Mayor, we do not see any virtual hand raised.
All right, I'll close public comment then, bring it back to council. Any other deliberation or comments, questions, anything? Yes.
Thank you. I was wondering what the reason, maybe Rick could come on up if he wanted to explain, or the city manager could tell us what might be the reasons that our profit has decreased so much. Is it the cost of the trees? Are less people buying them? Do we have more of a surplus at the end, or what?
Everybody, I actually visited 11 tree lots towards the end of the season last year. Number one, we had one last week between the day after Thanksgiving when we opened and Christmas Day. Number two, generally across the board, people are buying less trees that we're accounting for, but mainly it's the recent increase in cost in trucking, the cost of the trees, the cost of the services that we have to do that, safety mandates, the barricades, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just been a combo punch for us.
Yeah, so and we're not able to raise the price of the trees to make up the difference in.
We've been sneaking them up every year, but most people in town knows that our trees are a little bit more money than the ones at Home Depot, and they're glad to come and help support us because they know it's getting reinvested directly into the community.
Right. I mean, you guys are still making money. It's just not as much. And the storage fee, I presume, has been on previous agreements. same amount.
Just the last few years, like I stated before, it's 30-something years, we never paid a nickel.
Okay, I was just looking at this 20 to 24. I thought it was the same contract for 4 years, but so presumably the idea of having this storage fee is that is a cost of doing business for the selling the trees, and we want to make sure that the proper costs are being identified and accounted for.
The logic behind it is it doesn't cost the city anything, and that's 5 or 6 more scholarships that we could provide for our local students, that money. If we give it to you guys, or we put it towards scholarships.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, it's a storage fee, but, okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay.
All right, if there are no other questions, I would like to make a motion that we approve this agreement with the exception that we waive the $225 a month fee on the storage garage, and all other items stay the same.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, yes, Councilman Jackson.
I certainly appreciate the Kiwanis and all they do for the community. We buy our trees there every year. It's at a day we look forward to where I make the kids take photos, and they love to hate it. So big support of Kiwanis, as you know, Rick, but I cannot support this fee waiver right now. Your costs are going up, city costs are going up. We are all dealing with cost increases right now. And, you know, to the extent, you know, we do a lot of waiving in the city, but this isn't one I think I can support at this juncture. This is a fee you've been paying over the years, and, you know, I just think it's important that the city, we're going through labor negotiations right now. You know, I went to dollar wing night the other night, and it was $1.50 wing night. And the response was, costs are going up. So it's one of those things where we wish we could give a lot more to so many organizations that do great things in the community. But at the end of the day, we have bills to pay, and I can't support that for that reason.
Mayor, could I seek clarification?
Yes.
You made a motion, and then I thought I heard Councilmember Keegan say something. Was that a second?
Well, I was trying to say a second, but I got interrupted, so I gave the floor up.
Sorry, the mic seemed to cut out. I don't know that it was clear on our end, but we do have a motion and a second then.
Okay, I would like to just make a comment regarding what Councilman Jackson just said. For many years, for 30-some years, we haven't paid anything on the storage yard, on the storage garage. And we've been repairing it for all those years out of pocket from Kiwanis Club. I think the last few years we have been paying on it, but at this point, I think to say that, you know, you've been paying on it for quite some time isn't really quite true. So having said that, there is a motion and a second on the floor. Madam City Clerk, would I
Could
call
I-
the motion, please? Yes.
Make another. We do have in front of us the contract from 20 to 24, so it appears to me that for 4 years previously, they were paying this same fee of $225 per month.
That's correct. That's what I just said. Yeah.
So
For
for
the
the
last-
last 4 years, they've been paying it. And
For the 30 years previous to that, they have not.
I understand Councilmember Jackson's concern that we can't just keep waiving things here and there every time this comes before us. It is a use of a storage that could be used for something else or not. And if it's part of the costs of putting together the tree lot, you know, it seems to me that Kiwanis does a lot of great things. Absolutely, they contribute to a lot of causes. But you know, this is $2,700 that this city takes in because of the storage of these products. So I sympathize with Councilmember Jackson's concern.
Thank you. Madam City, yes, one more comment.
Question for staff. So the storage facility is shared, same storage facility that the Friends of the Library use?
Same building.
Same
It's
building.
the back end of it, yes.
Does the Friends of the Library pay an annual rent to us for use of the same building?
That is a great question.
I know
Councilman
Lisa's not
Toy.
here, so.
And let me see if we've got Joe or Henry, do we know that?
been told it's very minimal.
Smart money's on no money.
I thought we are charging storage for, I mean, the Historical Society pays to use that building as well, and there's other groups that all pay, I thought, I understood, a fair share for their storage, so it's an important question that it would be great to know, yeah.
Let me check in.
Use that building.
Let me check in with the director. At the same time, of course, staff is always going to try and maximize its assets. It's a policy question to council whether or not to waive or reduce those costs. Let me see if I can get an answer on that.
I think it's worth a few moments to wait.
Yeah, that's fine. In the meantime, I mean, we do go through a whole bunch of fees, whether we're going to change and waiver in a whole bunch of categories, which I thought would be a better way to do this than to single certain ones out. You know, go through and just take a look at all of our fees. Maybe we can reduce that at any moment. Instead of $225 a month, maybe they should be considered to be lower and more equitable in comparison with what other organizations are paying, such as the Friends of the Library. And who else is paying? Because I thought we were going through those fees. Yeah.
Well, we're checking on the Friends of the Library. That building in general, the Friends of the Library, their area is probably twice the size of the storage garage.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 2 to 1.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what they've been paying, but again, I'll reiterate, for some 30-some years, we haven't paid anything on that. And then the last 4 years, yes, we've been charged $225 a month for it.
Well, if you want, we can.
But again, I think Kiwanis Club, the point to make here, and what Mr. Koenig said pretty clearly is, Kiwanis isn't just renting a garage for their own purposes to make money for something. A good portion of the money that Kiwanis makes on that Christmas tree lot goes toward Hermosa Beach.
Yeah, Friends of the Library.
Charitable events in Hermosa Beach. That money comes back to the city in one way or another. So,
Your Honor, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
The city attorney just confirmed that he renegotiated the use of that space with Friends of the Library?
I just reviewed recently a draft amendment to the lease with Friends of the Library, and if I recall correctly, it was $1 a year.
What?
$1 a year.
$1 a year. And we're paying $225 a month. Okay. Well, I don't know if that answers your question.
Apparently it does.
Okay. So, having said that, if there's no other comments, can we call the question, please, Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Francois?
Yes.
Councilmember Keegan?
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Detoy?
Yes.
Mayor Seaman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. On to move on to item 11Q. Letter to California Coastal Commission opposing the permit application by LA County.
Yes, Your Honor. This is a letter in opposition to application number 50209A1, and that's being applied for by the Consolidated Fire Protection District of Los Angeles County. They have posted notices on our lifeguard towers for an after-the-fact approval from the Coastal Commission for expanding the advertising on the LA County-owned lifeguard towers from Cabrillo Beach to Will Rogers State Beach. I should correct that to say it's the LA County Fire District-owned lifeguard towers. The the lifeguard towers were transferred to the Fire District a few years ago, we understand, but in our research of the agreement, the beach maintenance agreement, 1997 agreement between the city and LA County, the assignment of that, especially, in fact, specifically to the Fire District, would mean the obligations continue with the Fire District. And this would be to the Coastal Commission, a letter to the Coastal Commission of objection. It objects generally to advertising on the beach and specifically to Hermosa Beach if the Coastal Commission approves the overall advertising. And this would, I don't have graphics with me at this time. You've seen them on the beach, though. It's basically taking what is a large poster on the back of the lifeguard towers that have been there for some time and enlarging them and putting them on either side, facing north and south of the towers.
Okay. The advertising that's on there, do we have an idea what it is? I mean, a couple of examples, one or two at least, of what they're advertising on?
Yeah,
I know
you
there's
heard earlier some
Hulu.
speakers. Hulu is one. We understand Coca-Cola is another. There is an issue in the beach maintenance agreement over whether or not it's a direct solicitation. Direct solicitation is not supposed to be allowed under the agreement. Of course, that's open for argument, and we can continue to argue that. But that taking up that with the county would be separate from this. This is a issue of whether we oppose it or not at the Coastal Commission.
And this is a letter to the Coastal Commission opposing the application to have this advertising, which is after the fact.
Yes, it's a opposition to the increase in advertising. It does not revoke, or we don't speak to the revocation of whatever prior permit they do have. They're applying for an amendment. So the assumption is that there was an underlying permit. We're still looking for that underlying permit. But this is an amendment to a permit. So as an amendment, this is an increase. It wouldn't remove all advertising from the beach in opposition. But again, those decisions are up to the Coastal Commission.
Any other questions of staff? Anyone? Councilman Jackson, you pulled this. Did you? Don't have any questions? No?
I have some questions.
Okay.
Thank you. It's the proposal in front of the Coastal Commission. First of all, it's possible it could be heard in August because they are meeting in the South District in August.
It is possible. We don't have that agenda out yet.
However, it could very well be December by the time they come back to a meeting in the South District.
Correct.
Which means that the after-the-fact ones would continue until December when it is being heard.
Yes.
So is there any way to request that the commission have them pulled until they've been approved? Because an after-the-fact approval is kind of strange, right? You break the law and do it and then ask for it later. I'm just wondering, is there some way to gauge this to the commission and request that they be pulled until they're approved?
The commission can't take action until it's on an agenda for them to take action on.
Right.
But since it's an after-the-fact request, I would think that we could approach the Coastal Commission staff and see what their opinion is, whether they would remove those or not.
Yeah, okay, all right. I mean, if it's in August, that's fine, but we don't know. So I guess in the same respect, let's just say the commission eventually disapproves this. We still end up with the ones that, as far as we know, were approved years ago, up and down the coast of LA County.
Yes, I would say the advertising on the lifeguard towers has evolved. Prior advertising was generally a sponsorship on things like a tide board, which would tell you what the temperature of the water is, what the wave height is, and things like that. You had Arrowhead at the top, but the information was a public service underneath, and that's where I would say it's a sponsorship. Another idea with that would be the Toyota sponsorship. It says, on the back of the lifeguard vehicles, this vehicle is sponsored by Toyota for the LA County Lifeguard.
Well, those are the sponsorship ones, which have been on traditionally for a long time, but I'm talking about the ones that were there last year, for example, that I believe there were some Hulu ads last year. They were the smaller size before they've put in the after-the-fact ones. And I'm talking about some type of request to have that permit reconsidered in the future.
That would be a separate item. It wouldn't be heard along with this. This is an amendment. As far as what the willingness of the Coastal Commission would be, that request can certainly be made of them.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Councilman Keegan, you mentioned a no vote on this to begin with. You have any comments? Something to add?
I just wanted to add that Our letter's pretty long-winded. I think we just need to say that we're against advertising that's currently on the building. We don't want to increase it. And just point out to the fact we have an agreement with the county that says they can't advertise and they're not adhering to that. So we'd like you to turn this down based on their non-compliance with our agreement and our feelings on advertising as a whole. That's all.
So you're in favor of a letter condemning it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, if I may clarify, the current agreement doesn't say there can't be any advertising, but it is a narrow kind of advertising where they talk about sponsorship.
Right.
So.
Okay.
Oh, that poses one more question then, Mr. City Manager. Currently, we own our beaches, and in the future, is it possible when we have to renegotiate our expenses for maintenance and lifeguard that we may have to give up our ownership of the beach? And if that's the case, then even though they did some exemption for Hermosa, it wouldn't apply anymore if we didn't own our beaches, right? They would be owned by the county, and then it would be whatever is approved by the Coastal Commission for the county would also be in effect for Hermosa Beach.
Correct, and I would say it's an interesting question regarding ownership of the beach because the agreement is silent on how it needs to or does not need to comply with the local zoning rules of the city, which prohibits billboards and off-site advertising.
Right, and you mentioned, I believe in your staff report or a supplemental email that the annual budget for beaches and harbors is about $49 billion. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, $49 billion. The amount of revenue that this produces is pretty negligible compared to a $49 billion budget. Is it fair to say?
I'll leave that to you. I don't know what the revenue is that they get from this.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. I'd like to open this up to public comment now. Madam City Clerk.
Mayor, we did not receive any public comment on item 11Q. Any speaker cards? If you are joining the meeting via Zoom, now is the time to raise your virtual hand. Kent Allen, your 3 minutes will begin once you're unmuted.
Thank you. Kent Allen here, longtime resident of Hermosa Beach. Been in my current house for 30 years, but I moved here in 1978. You know, I have a very simple position on advertising, and it couldn't be simpler. Parks, City Hall, libraries, the beaches should be free of advertising. There should be a place where people will not get bombarded with political, let's call it sexual messages on the beach. And while I certainly don't have any problem with temporary displays for people's ideas a month at a time, it would not bother me. The green thing's not going to get under the green Hulu tower's not going to get under my skin, as long as it's painted back blue. Black Lives Matter wants to have paint one black, one, that's fine by me. Just paint it back blue. Up in El Segundo, Alec Abad, a well-known realtor in town, always paints every year. The pink lifeguard tower at Tower 60 always paints it back blue. And I think it's time that we realize that we need to remove political messages from anything to do with public spaces, and especially the beach. And I think it's time that Tower 13 be changed back to blue. It's a very divisive, coloring scheme they have down there, and people are simply afraid to say anything. Now, those that know me knows that I was sued by the people, some of the people that wanted to paint that tower. Of course, they got, their rear ends handed to them, and I completely prevailed. And I just think we just really need to get all our towers back blue. And if you don't like blue, go back to the 40s when they were all yellow, and do that. But it is time. The time has come, and this Hulu tower is a good springboard for us to say, let's just change back 13 to blue. And for all those people that call me all week long, I got 3 calls today alone about this. Residents that are simply afraid to say anything because they know they will be attacked. As I was not afraid, and I prevailed in court, and the people who attacked me had to pay my attorney $20,000. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, are there any other comments, public comments?
Mayor, we do not see any other virtual hands raised.
Very good, thank you. And then I'll close public comment, bring it back to the council. If there is no other further deliberation, I moved that we, beg your pardon? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Don't disagree with the comments we've heard this evening in chambers and online with regard to advertising. I just wanted to be known that this is a county-wide issue extending well beyond Hermosa Beach. It goes from Avalon to Malibu. The county is currently in discussions with the Coastal Commission, so it may be most productive, I think, to allow these conversations to play out. Our understanding is that a resolution is likely within the next week or two, potentially eliminating the need for any council action.
Thank you for that update.
Okay.
Mr.
Thank
Mayor.
you. Yes.
Could I just inquire what it means that the California Coastal Commission is in current communication with the county regarding this? Because as I understand it, it is a application that the county is applying to the Coastal Commission, and it's going to come up when it's on the agenda. So is there something more that we don't know about as far as the Coastal Commission is in current communication with the county regarding this?
The county is talking to the Coastal Commission about these concerns that have been raised. It is my understanding, and I'm comfortable with saying, that a resolution on the concerns is likely in the next week or two. So there's nothing out of the ordinary for an applicant to have discussions with the Coastal Commission. That's what they prefer, that there be a give and take and an understanding of what is and is not possible. So those discussions are taking place now. They're looking at the program and what LA County is proposing, and then they will hopefully, and I'm comfortable saying I think this is going to be resolved in the next week or two.
Okay. I mean, I just think that it benefits everyone involved that the Coastal Commission knows the position of this city when it comes to this application. And in my opinion, that can only benefit what other communication is going on, if there is any, between Coastal Commission staff and the county. But eventually it's going to come up, you know, as a permit, whether it happens in August or December. And so I think that this benefits the city as a whole by taking this statement and this stand now. So thank you. I support, and I want to congratulate staff for the research that they've gone into come up with the details about this, because it's very difficult for members of the public to find out information specifically about Coastal Commission agenda items when they haven't been published yet. So I want to just commend staff and the research that you did regarding this item, and I support the staff's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
There is no agenda item for this particular item as of yet. There may not be an agendized item for this issue, hence the discussions, as I alluded to earlier, that are taking place. That's my point.
I appreciate that. And if there are no other... Yes, Councilman Keegan.
In light of the stuff we've learned tonight, can we just table this letter and bring it back at a later date?
I suppose we could, but I don't think, I'm not interested in doing that right now. I'm about to make a motion. So,
okay.
Yeah, I think it's right here on our agenda right now. I'd like to conclude this item, if it's okay with you. If there's no other deliberation then, I move that we to staff recommendation and approve sending this letter.
I second that.
A motion and a second. Madam City Clerk, call the
Coun-
roll. Oh, excuse me, one more comment?
Mr. Mayor, friendly amendment just to pending send this when it is agendized. I mean, if what we heard was true, and this will be worked out on the staff level and it never gets to the agenda for the commissioners, can we just keep this? And if it does get agendized in the Coastal Commission meeting schedule, then we could have staff send it.
I think there's merit in sending the letter and having our opinion known.
Yeah, I think the
Regardless of
danger
their-
of that, Councilmember Detoy, if I may, the danger is that by us sending the letter now, Coastal Commission staff knows our position on it, and it could leverage it better in whatever discussions they're having with the county with regards to this application. I mean, it is true, it's not on an agenda yet. It's true that it could be coming up in August, which means it makes it relevant to send it now. But if it's coming up in December or whenever, or these after-the-fact signs will continue in perpetuity if the permit never comes up on the agenda, I guess those are all things that's important for the commission to know that we have sufficiently deliberated on this to come up with a position, so.
I agree. I think we
Yeah.
should focus on this letter
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
than future discussions
Right.
and so on. And so, I'd like to call the question, please. Madam City
Will
Clerk.
you be accepting the friendly amendment?
No.
Councilmember Francois?
Yes.
Councilmember Keegan?
No.
Councilmember Jackson?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Detoy?
Aye.
Mayor Seaman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
And next, we have item 13A, Greenwich Village North Underground Utilities Assessment District. Adopt resolution to award construction contract, approve amendment to agreement with NV5 Inc., adopt resolutions to issue bonds, and enroll assessments.
Your Honor, this will be presented by Public Works Director Joe San Clemente, and a long time coming.
Thank you, City Manager Napolitano, and good evening again, Mayor. Yes, I will reiterate, I am very pleased to be here tonight to bring you this item that's been years in the making. So there's a few items packed into one here, quite a few motions to consider. Greenwich Village District was formed in 2020. The original application came to us in 2017. And the design commenced sometime in 2021. So we've been working really hard with the residents, utility companies, and our project team for several years to get this to this point. It would underground about 17 poles in net between 25th Street and 35th Street along Hermosa Avenue and lay about 3,000 linear feet of conduit along the roadways and for the necessary connections. So we've been working hand in hand with 3 different utility companies, Edison, Frontier, Crown Castle, to coordinate those designs. Those designs were finalized early in 2025. There's a few phases really to consider tonight. After the district formation, the completion of the design, the city advertised the project on behalf of the district. And so really the first phase is the civil improvements that I'd like to highlight, and that's really kind of one of the main items being considered tonight. The second part is once the contractor lays all the conduit, the utility companies, the 3 utility companies actually come in and pull their lines. And then the third part is where the property owners, it is their responsibility to pay for the cost of the hookup to those lines once they're in place. So that does take some additional time, and it would be their responsibility. We will be notifying property owners that they need to plan to get a contractor lined up to be able to do this once the conduit's ready for them to connect. And then the final stage, phase 4, is Frontier would be responsible for actually pulling all the poles once all these connections are in place so that we can do the switch over. When the district was formed, there was an estimate of about $4 million, and that included the cost for the formation and all the costs with the exception of the private conversion. We advertised in April, bids opened in May. We got about 6 bids. They came in about 2.3 million was the apparent low bidder. We are recommending an award of contract to CEM Construction, the 2.3. While the engineering cost for the facility improvements was slightly higher, we found that with the contingency that we have, the overall bond amount, which was approved by all the district residents, was sufficient to carry the full cost of the project, which was good news. So the next step is to issue the bonds. We do have a placement agent agreement. They are helping the city team do a competitive process to find the best deal on a bond for the district. There's also a paying agent agreement for consideration tonight that would authorize our finance manager to administer the bonds once we receive the proceeds and moving into the future. So we are seeking authorization to issue those bonds, $4 million. It's a 20-year period. We're asking for some flexibility, not to exceed rate of 6%. Based on the preliminary review of the bids, which haven't been finalized, we are seeing that the interest rates are below that amount, and we're working with our financial team to find the best deal for the district. We then would have to enroll on the LA County property tax. We record liens against the properties that do wish to have their assessment go to bond. There is a prepayment opportunity. There was a letter that was sent out when the district was formed several years ago. We reissued those prepayment notices in June. They have until the end of the month to make those prepayments that will finalize some of the adjustments. So they can either prepay to save on interest, or they can be assessed for that 20-year period on the tax roll. The deadline to get everything in is August 10th. Staff has been working very diligently with the project team to make that deadline, which will save the district about $80,000 in interest charges should we hit that deadline. Another item for consideration tonight is how we're going to manage this in construction. The city did advertise this project and is overseeing the construction. NV5 is our engineering team. They were the assessment engineer of record and have been facilitating the design process in coordination with the district and the city and the utility companies. We would like to keep them on board through construction. They would provide construction inspection and assist the city with management services. We have an existing on-call arrangement with them. The contract was executed in 2021. We are seeking to increase that contract amount by $100,000 and extend the term. The full cost of those services is about $200,000 to $250,000. But once again, those fees are paid. All costs for this project are paid by the residents of the district, and that's all contained within that bond amount. So we're using bond proceeds to pay. We're really just seeking contract authorization to increase that amount, and extension of the timeline for an existing contract that would be paid by the bond. So overall, the fiscal impact, all costs are paid by the district. There is a $100,000 city administration fee that was outlined in the engineer's report when the district was formed and approved by council in 2020. And upon issuance of the bonds, there would be a payment to the city for that amount, and that covers all the city costs to date, including staff time, legal fees, and continued administration costs through our both Public Works and Finance team that have been very closely involved and will be closely involved into the future. There's a paying agent agreement that would authorize our finance manager to administer those bonds. Remember, the lifespan is 20 years, so there'll be a responsibility of the city to keep putting this on the tax roll for the next 20 years. Last slide is just a condensed version of the several recommendations for consideration before you tonight. Award of our construction contract, seeking a 20% contingency, once again all paid with bond proceeds. Upon completion, we'd file the notice of completion with the county. We have the contract amendment that I mentioned with NV5. This is really just increasing it and extending the term to allow for construction inspection and management assistance. We have the resolution to issue the bonds for $4 million, assess this to the levy to the tax roll, and then authorize the mayor to execute the various agreements that we have outlined in the staff report. That concludes my summary, but I also want to note I'm joined here tonight with our project manager and senior engineer, Brandon Arrojo, who has worked heroically in combination with Henry Chow, our finance manager, to get this thing over the finish line in partnership with many team members, legal, city manager's office. It's been a big lift to get this through here. Mark Northcross, NHA Advisors, our financial advisor, actually came down from the Bay Area out of excitement to be here tonight. So our team's here to answer any questions you might have.
And Your Honor, if I could just quickly, it has taken 10 years to get here. Some of that has been due to staff turnover. There's lots of other reasons why it's taken 10 years, but this is the staff that dragged it over the finish line. And Joe and his team, the finance team, and special shout out to Brandon, who found the money to make this come in under budget. They deserve a ton of credit to make this happen. I just want to recognize them, and I appreciate your indulgence of that.
Thank you, Mr. Interim City Manager. I completely concur. I appreciate very much the work you guys did on this. I know it's been a long haul, and for whatever reason it took so long, and I'm sure COVID was part of that too, and so on. But it would be really great to, in the future, get these to kind of be a little easier to do. Be nice to do that. But at any rate, I'm pleased that this one happened the way it did, and thank you for finding the money, Brandon. That was the deal that fixed it all. So appreciate it very much. Great staff report. Are there any questions of staff? No. Thank you. Okay, then let's open this up to public comment. Madam City Clerk.
Mayor, we do not have any speaker cards for this item. If you are joining this meeting via Zoom and would like to provide comment on 13A on the agenda, now is the time to raise your virtual hand. Mayor, we do not see any virtual hands raised.
All right, then I'll bring it back from public comment back to City Council. Any further comments or deliberation or a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I
Yes?
just want to say thank you to city staff and also the group of residents in the district for their persistence and, you know, not taking no for an answer and kind of jumping over every roadblock that got thrown in them. This was a long time coming, and I remember counting the votes during COVID in 2020, and the fact it's been 5 years to get to this point. So after the wires are in the ground, I look forward to having a conversation of how we can improve this process and get all of our utilities underground. With that, more than happy to, this is a really long motion, so I'm just going to take the cheap road and say I'll move staff's recommendation.
I'll second that. Madam City Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Francois?
Yes.
Councilmember Keegan?
Aye.
Councilmember Jackson?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem DeToy?
Aye.
Mayor Seaman?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Then we move on to item 13B.
Item 13B, council consideration and direction on recommendations from the city manager's Civic Facilities Project Advisory Group.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a presentation, of course, regarding the City Manager's Civic Facilities Project Advisory Group, but as the one that came in at the 11th hour, I'm not going to steal any thunder from the actual group themselves. Eric Horn is going to be here on behalf of the group to make the presentation along with Rick Koenig. And if I could ask all the members of the group who are here to stand up to be recognized. They put a lot of time and effort in. They did a fantastic job. This is the culmination of their work for now to help inform and instruct us in the path forward. So I'll turn over to Eric, who has a PowerPoint presentation.
Mr. City Manager, staff, council, appreciate the opportunity to be with you. Rick will kick us off.
Well, thank you, Eric. First off, I'm going to say what an honor to be part of this. Really, a lot of work, a lot of sweat equity, a lot of time went into this. We started out this project and we didn't know what we didn't know. We made a few decisions along the way, as you'll see in the following slides, and we now know that there's a lot more that we don't know. So we're looking forward to seeing this go forward. That being said, if I can figure this out. There we go. Oops. What did I do? Here, this one. There we go. Who we are. Tom Beckley, who just left, Claudia Berman, Ira Ellman, Eric Oakes, Mike Flaherty, Scott Hayes, Eric Horn, myself, Lauren Pfizer Maines, Jim Rosenberger, and Jennifer Rosenfeld. It was quite a room. It was an interesting many meetings. What do we have, 9 meetings, I think, in the last 8 or 9 months. We were formed to assist in assessing aging civic infrastructure and scrutinize different paths forward. Groups include former councilmen, superintendent of public works, former city manager, contractor, architects, engineers, policy professionals, and engaged residents. 8 months of meetings, several site visits, and extensive document review. Committed to fiscally responsible, community-centered solutions. One more. Summary of findings. City yard, most urgent need, requires full replacement. Secondly, police department, most deficient after the city yard. Number 3, the 3 primary options identified for the Civic Center, and I stress the word options, was renovation and modest expansion. Number 2, new consolidated Civic Center at public storage site. 3, hybrid, new police station plus City Hall renovation. We cannot make a definitive recommendation. More info is needed on feasibility, cost, and financing for all of those options. With that, I'm going to turn this over to Eric to take it home. You want to go that one?
Got it. Thanks, Rick. Actually, Rick, I think you want to do the city yard slide.
Do I want to do it? Sure. City yard and fiscal content. We fully support the council's decision to prioritize the city yard project, capacity for one big project at a time. Fiscal context, estimated $20 million for city yard and projected deficits of $4 million by 2030 means future infrastructure will be fiscally challenging. Staging at public storage will delay other major capital projects. And lastly, this is a crucial opportunity to demonstrate competence by delivering on time and on budget. Yep.
The only thing I would add to that is that, the group came together with a bunch of diverse opinions on all of these subjects, and we were given the information that we had from city leadership. We had a consultant that was a part of this project, Jeff Fullerton Consulting, and we, again, to reiterate what Rick said, we had to make decisions based on the information available to us, and ultimately, we quickly realized that the scope of these decisions requires so much more information, so many more questions to be answered before choosing a definite path. But one of the, I think, accomplishments of the group was that we were able to whittle the options down a little bit, at least on the new construction, and provide some questions that the City Council should answer. But first, let's talk about the challenges of the current facilities. I think everyone in our group recognizes that the current infrastructure does have challenges. The degree of those challenges, the severity, and what should be done about it are the questions that we considered. But to just summarize a little bit, with the police department, which we, after the city yard, view as the facility in greatest need of attention, outdated evidence storage and digital infrastructure, no confidential space for victims that are trying to come into the police department and report a crime. They oftentimes have to do so from the waiting room. There's water damage in the police department that could eventually pose risks to certain infrastructure within the department, and there are space constraints. With City Hall, we've heard concerns from staff and have seen, with our own eyes that there are parts of the City Hall that are overcrowded. The customer experience of coming into the City Hall and wanting to accomplish something with regards to planning, public works is a bit fragmented. There are inadequate waiting areas and restrooms for people that are visiting City Hall. And this could pose potential challenges for staff morale and retention in the long term, although I think further study and verification of that is needed. So, the group was tasked with looking at the challenges of the current facilities and looking at a plethora of different options in terms of remedying those challenges. And those options can essentially be boiled down into renovation of the current facilities or new construction of new facilities. And so with renovation and modest expansion, this comes out of course, we are all in this building now. It is the roof is still standing, and there might be an enormous amount of usable life left in this building. A 2016 McGrath study cited that this facility, if renovated, could last another 50 years. That was 10 years ago. So, the useful life of the facilities might now be 40 years. To renovate the existing facilities, there is a gradation of options from a new coat of paint to more substantive renovation that would ameliorate not just the structural problems with the building, but also some of the operational challenges that we discussed on the previous slide. For instance, we spoke with the police chief, and some of the concerns around not having a dedicated interview room for victim intake might be solved by taking some storage rooms, other admin and whatnot, and putting them in a new expanded office either on Bard Street or, if the structure allows for it, on the roof of the police station, although this is something that would need to be verified by actual construction analysis of the current footprint and to see where we might be able to do that. All that's to say is that renovation of the existing building is an option, and it's something that the City Council and staff should continue to explore. The question of whether this would cost significantly less than new construction is, of course, contingent on what are the true issues with the building and how ambitious does the council and staff want to be with renovations that would improve performance of the building. I think with this option, as well as the new construction option, the challenge for council, of course, is that you have to spend money in order to understand how much this is going to cost. This would require new construction and engineering estimates that we did not have access to, and so we can't make an estimate of this. Option 2, of course, is new construction. There were multiple options for new construction that were presented to our group and previously presented to council, and these range from new construction on the community resource building site, new construction here on the existing site, new construction at the public storage site. And with the limited information that we had at our disposal and in conversations with staff, drawing on our own conversations with people in the community and our own perspectives, we believe that of the new construction options, a compact, consolidated police and/or city hall on the public storage site would be the most promising of the new construction options. Now, that does not mean that we are recommending this as the option to council. It just means that of the information we collected and analyzed, this was the most promising of the new construction opportunities, given the potential to have a purpose-built, efficient, optimized space for the police department and city hall on this site that is the least disruptive to other parts of the community. Of course, the major drawback in new construction is likely to be the cost. Compared to renovation, which again, we do not know the full cost of different types of renovation and modest expansion for the current facilities, we do expect that new construction would cost more money, and that would require further estimates and, of course, a lengthier process of community engagement. But I'll get to some of the estimates on the next slide. Finally, for new construction, we did discuss, and this wasn't presented to us by the consulting group, but we did discuss the idea of a hybrid option of doing a new construction of a police station on the public storage lot, as well as renovation of this building for city staff use. This is out of recognition that our assessment is that the police department is in the greatest need of renovation or new construction compared to City Hall. And so that is an option that council could consider going forward. It might be less expensive than doing a consolidated City Hall and police site on the storage lot. We received cost estimates that are very, very rough from Fullerton Consulting that are based very simply on a needs assessment that was done a number of years ago that Fullerton Consulting then revised downward based on, I think, further interviews with staff that the numbers they originally got years ago were too high. And you can see the estimates for the square footage needs for police and city hall in this table on the right. This then combined with a comp estimate of new construction for a city hall of this size based on certain community characteristics that Fullerton Consulting provided, nets us a total cost for this option, looking at this square footage need as a consolidated new construction option for the public storage site at about $67 million. And I want to be very clear, these are low fidelity numbers. They should not be used to make any sort of decisions on the merits of these options. This is provided to us by Jeff Fullerton Consulting as sort of a framework as we consider, where we want to put money into assessing further options, as this project moves forward in the years ahead. Community trust. As Rick mentioned, public trust is key with any new infrastructure item, and we also talked earlier this evening about, the Greenwich Village undergrounding, and, we want to be able to use the experience that we have with large infrastructure projects to constantly evaluate and improve how we can deliver services, deliver infrastructure at a cost-effective and timeline-sensitive basis. We understand and we commend the City Council for moving forward with the City Yard as the first priority for infrastructure development in this town. We also understand that that means there's going to be the need for perhaps swing space as that development proceeds. That might include using the public storage site for swing space. Furthermore, we understand that this is a small town and that really we probably only have the capacity staff-wise and financially for one big project at a time. But most importantly, I think that the group looks at the City Yard project as a really important opportunity for staff and for the council to be able to demonstrate competence in managing a project to be on time and on budget. And that's going to be really important if we proceed with any of these options in the years ahead. Finally, we would also note that in terms of community outreach and education, this group was tasked with advising the city manager on the options presented to us by staff and by Fullerton Consulting. There was discussion about us playing a role in community outreach, but there was also a separate consulting contract for the Lee Andrews Group that was responsible for community outreach. I would note that we were not, as a group, particularly pleased with the outcome of that community outreach. We thought that it left much to be desired. We view the advisory group as a good option going forward if we want to consider down the line, years from now, how we want to proceed with different options that we discuss in this report that we're providing you as a lower cost model that can provide detailed community input on the options without necessarily having to hire a high cost consultant. We think that thoughtful planning now, even though we do not expect this project on any major level to move forward for the next several years because of the demands of the City Yard construction project to proceed, we think that it makes sense for the council and for staff to continue to think about this in a long-term, apolitical way that allows us to generate the right outcome for our town, whatever that may be. I would just finally note that, I think as Rick mentioned, we had a lot of really eventful meetings. We all valued the opportunity to serve in this capacity. I think that a lot of members of perhaps the council and the community might be surprised that we are not coming in full force with one recommendation or another. And I think that that's out of respect for the complexity of this problem. I think that everyone in this group, regardless of what preconceived notions they might have had about which path is the right way forward, recognizes that there's so much more information that needs to be gathered here, and there's so much more engagement that needs to happen before proceeding concretely with any of these options, that it would be inappropriate for us to actually venture forward a definite recommendation. But in the report, I hope that you guys find useful the questions that we believe still need to be answered, some of the considerations on different elements of the debate that we had as a group. We appreciate the opportunity to serve, and with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, though I would only answer questions if I thought that I could speak competently on behalf of the group as a consensus.
Your Honor, if I could also reinforce a couple of things. When I first got here and joined the team, one of the first things I did was went on a tour of the city facilities, and absolutely, when I sat down with the group at their last meeting, it really just came together what my thoughts were, what their thoughts were. Absolutely, I agree that the City Yard is the highest priority. That needs to go. Absolutely, I think the best approach is to take that one big project at a time. have the community, the city, prove ourselves to the community that we can take these things on, get them done on time and on budget. I certainly appreciate that homegrown consultants are the best. I've dealt with many consultants, and you really don't want anyone coming in from outside of town telling us what we need to do. The best people to do that are the ones who live here, and these are the folks who did that. And there's nothing better than free consultants as well. So appreciate that and all their efforts. And I think that we're ready to move forward. We know that at our next meeting in August, we're going to have the question of the delivery method for the city yard on your agenda for approval. That'll get us going from there. Joe's still back there, so he's very happy with that. We can get that project going. And then for the future, for the Civic Center and other things as they go, these, of course, will evolve along with time and with the people who join. And I hope everyone continue to stay involved, and we'll be calling on them in the future as well. But again, a word of appreciation. Thanks for everyone's involvement. Thank you, Your Honor.
Pardon me. Any questions of council regarding this presentation? What's that? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, all the members of this group, for the fine report and all the work you've done. It's been great and successful, and it's an eye-opener to what's needed. I just have a few questions. Maybe the city manager could chime in, or the adjunct chair of the group. Is the idea that the police department building is in worse condition, and therefore that's a higher priority than City Hall? Would it be a priority to build a new police station and then utilize the rest of the existing police department facility to renovate and become an expanded City Hall? Is that the thought process on that?
That is one of the items that we viewed as most promising based on the information we had, and your correct assessment that we viewed the police department as in greater need of renovation operationally and structurally compared to the City Hall. Yeah.
We could make the jail a historical jail or something.
Yeah, for sure.
So regarding the library, and I'm on the County Library Commission, and I believe there's something like $6 to $9 million sitting in a pot because we take in potentially $2.2 million in taxpayers for the library and only spend 1.3, and I think the money's been set aside for us to be able to utilize. Is there any reason why we can't begin utilizing that money to add another floor, do something else to renovate and revamp our library? I don't know if you talked about that much at your...
We did discuss that, and I would defer to the interim city manager or public works director on the specifics. My understanding is that fund is about $4 million. And that, based on conversations we had, we would expect that unless the council were to take a decision to do something imminently with regards to a broader civic facilities effort, the library may wish to use those funds as they see fit. I believe that they were sort of in holding pattern to see what this process would come out with.
Right. Those funds are set aside by the county, and I know that in Manhattan Beach there's an agreement to set aside the funds for a certain number of years, so we'd have to review if it's ongoing in perpetuity here for Hermosa Beach or whether there's a sunset on that, but there is about $4 million. It's the excess tax dollars that comes through the special district, but anything done with those dollars would have to be done in conjunction with approval of the county library system.
I'd like to point out, too, that the county owns the library.
Yes.
Building. And the land underneath it, or no, just the building? Land and the building.
So what would it...
Rick said it so.
What would it take then to begin the process of figuring out what to do with our library and using the money that's been allocated to renovate? Because I believe you kind of get the feeling that any new work has been held off because we didn't know what direction we're going, and now we have a little better direction that we can go ahead with our library and do something with it, because it really needs a lot of upgrading.
We would start conversations with the county about that, but $4 million isn't going to get a new library.
We can revamp, we can renovate,
Yes.
revamp, make it really, you can keep the old classic 60s style and like what they've done in other cities. I've been to a few other, Gardena, for example, has a nice library and they kept the old school look to it. So there's a lot of libraries that have been able to do that, and so it would be great, I think, to see something like that. Let's see. I think that's all the questions I have. Thank you very much.
Any other further questions? No? Thank you very much. Let's open this up to public comment. Madam City Clerk, do we have comment cards?
Yes, we did receive a speaker card. David Grethen, your 3 minutes, I'm sorry. David Grethen, your 3 minutes will begin once you begin speaking.
Good evening, Council and Steve. David Grethen, Public Works Commission. And also shout out to Commissioner Scott Hayes, who's not here tonight. He worked as part of this group. Commission was represented. I didn't talk to anybody during the process that this occurred, but I hope I will have a chance to speak to some of those who served on this group and maybe get a little more insight. I read the report, and it's a good report, good presentation. I really can't fault anything in the report or the presentation. It makes sense to me. It seems consistent with what I've been thinking and seeing, and as I've been following this since the last time we had a major effort on this one. Sergio Gonzalez was the city manager several years ago. I had some impressions then, and they were kind of reinforced by what I saw tonight and in the report. As far as the prioritization goes, I didn't know if we were going to state absolutely that we wanted to make the city yard #1, so that position has been taken there. From the remaining facilities, I would tend to agree with at least my perception that police is up there as a priority. I think among the options, keeping the hybrid option is reflective of that priority. If we, under the assumption that if building is really more expensive, then if we would be still prioritizing police by doing the hybrid, if we could do some new. I would add that perhaps we should broaden the concept to be more like a public safety facility. Maybe it would include, the community services, maybe some other functions, maybe the emergency operations center. So I would just broaden our view of that a little bit. I was glad to hear that outreach was mentioned. I wasn't sure how much we were going to accomplish in terms of outreach. I think that's an important thing that we didn't get so much accomplished. We want to keep that up in terms of what it's going to cost, what we're going to do with our public lands, perhaps as part of the financing, and if we were going to do something interesting with those lands, if the public would be receptive to those. One nitpick I had about the report, it said something, I think it said something to the effect that maybe there's not much appetite for a hotel over here. That may be the case, but that seems that an example of something we'd want a broader outreach to really establish if we truly understand that. But all in all, it's good to see that we've got some form of consensus. It's documented, and we all are working from a common reference point moving forward. So I appreciate everything that's been done. Thank you all.
Jennifer R.
Hi, I was on the committee. I'm Jennifer Rosenfeld, long-term resident of Hermosa. And I just want to take 30 seconds. I'm fully supportive of everything in the report. And all I wanted to say is that I joined this committee with no preconceived notions and became convinced, having had the tours and learning, that this is an urgent issue for our city. All three of these facilities, the yard, the police station, and the civic center, and the city hall. And I hope that as a City Council, this will be your legacy, whether you kick it down the road or whether you take the leadership to make something happen. And I hope you do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, we did not receive any other speaker cards for this item. We do have virtual hands raised. Laura Pena, your 3 minutes will begin once you begin speaking.
Hi, I want to, Laura Pena here. I want to first begin by acknowledging the time and the effort volunteer members put into this process. Their work provides insight, but it also raises important questions about what comes next and how we bring the broader community along. I encourage us to consider what lessons we have learned in this. One of the report's own conclusions is that public trust will be essential. Yet the advisory group meetings were closed to the public, and there's no clear data showing how well the group reflects the full range of the community voices. As I understand now, that was never their mandate or intention. My question is why? The 12 advisory members are more connected to our community than any outside consulting group could ever be. For the broader public, we had limited access. How many public-facing outreach touch points occurred beyond these stakeholder interviews? Look, we all want our civic facilities that reflect the needs of our future, but how do we ensure we actually are hearing from those future voices? Going forward, I offer the following questions. How can we make future phases of this process more transparent, inclusive, and measurable? Can we pilot new engagement tools like statistically valid surveys, mobile townhomes, or pop-up events that we know about? How do we use the city yard project as a proof of performance? If we say we need to complete that first to build trust, what benchmarks will we show we're learning from it? These questions aren't about slowing down progress. It's about strengthening the case for it. If we're serious about moving toward a bond measure for this, a revitalized downtown, stronger city services, then we need to treat community participation as an ongoing process, not a one-time input. Let's build the next phase with even more inclusion, transparency, and alignment so that the final project isn't just something functional, but it's widely supported. Because if we want the community to stand behind this project, we must first invite them to stand inside the process. Because real engagement isn't just a check box. It's the cornerstone of lasting public trust. If we want a civic center that reflects our community, then we must first reflect our community in the process. Thank you.
Mayor, we do not have any other virtual hands raised.
All right, then I'll close public comment and bring it back to council. Are there any comments, deliberation, questions? No?
I think Dean mentioned the thanks and gratitude to the group. You did a lot of digging and research into this, and I think we're going to definitely tap you moving forward and what the future looks like of our civic facilities. But before we make any decisions, we have to look at, the real cost estimates. Is there land for public-private partnership? Is there, bond measure, tax measure, whatever it is to renovate, to improve our civic facilities, police station, et cetera? And without that information, it's kind of, to say we like different options, but this information is going to be vital moving forward. So just thank you to that.
Appreciate that. Any other comments? Very well, then, I'd like to move that we receive...
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Sorry, just a quick...
Yes, please.
Yeah, just to reiterate what my colleagues have said, thank you to everybody for all your efforts, all your hours of hard work. This was great and certainly something that we needed to do, so much thanks.
All right. I would like to move that we receive and file the recommendations from the City Manager's Civic Facilities Project Advisory Group.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Madam City Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Francois?
Yes.
Councilmember Keegan?
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem DeToy?
Aye.
Mayor Seaman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. Thank you.
Next, we have item 13C, consideration of executive recruitment firm for the city manager recruitment.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Is there a staff report?
Good evening, City Council. So this item is for consideration of an executive recruitment firm for the search of the city's next city manager. There we go. All right, so as you know, staff previously solicited bids from executive recruitment firms to conduct this recruitment. And 4 bids were received and presented to the ad hoc committee of Mayor Seaman and Mayor Pro Tem Detoy. And the ad hoc committee narrowed the bids down to 2 firms, which are now presented to City Council for consideration. So the 2 firms are Bob Murray and Associates and Peckham and McKinney. And as far as fiscal impact, the cost of the executive recruitment firm for the city manager recruitment is expected to not exceed $37,000, and it's a flat rate. And below are the proposed costs for each, on the slide are the proposed costs for each recruitment firm. So Bob Murray and Associates is $37,000, and Peckham and McKinney, $30,000. So in this process, individual members of the City Council have all met with the 2 potential recruitment firms. And at this time, staff recommends that City Council discuss each member's findings from these meetings and vote to select a firm for the city manager recruitment. And also, staff recommends that City Council authorize the mayor to execute and the city clerk to attest to a professional services agreement with the selected firm, subject to approval of the city attorney. So I will open it up for discussion between City Council for the selected.
Thank you. Thank you for that report. Are there any questions from council? Yes. Mayor, Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the report, Tiffany. Thanks for all your work on this. Do we know how many firms typically apply for these sort of recruiting jobs? You said we've had 4 that answered the call. Is that typical? Is that atypical?
I don't have a typical number really, but 4 I would say is probably a relatively low number.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Yes, Councilman Francois.
I have a question. The timelines that they both firms came up with was about how long from when we begin the selection to when it's completed its task?
I think it was several months for the timeline.
Several months? Mm-hmm. And if we selected the firm now, would it begin immediately when we make that selection, or is there a delay before we actually begin that process?
So once we select the firm, we would need to establish the contract with the firm before the work begins. So that process shouldn't take too long. It should be just several days if we get all the approvals.
So we would come back then and approve that contract at a future council meeting?
So in this meeting, if we could authorize the mayor to execute the contract agreement, then we don't need to come back.
Okay, and I was just wondering if there's a desire to, for example, wait a month or 2 down the line before we begin that. Is that possible, or are these rates, I mean, they seem to be good prices. Both of them, I think, seem reasonable for the work we're getting. Would it mean that we'd have to start all over again, or could we still negotiate those contracts several months down the line?
So these are proposals that we received. If City Council has a desire to continue to negotiate, that is a possibility.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Councilman Keegan, are you everything?
I thought both firms were very qualified.
Okay. No questions? All right. And that's close questions and bring it out to public comment, please. Madam City Clerk.
Mayor, we did not receive any speaker cards for this item. If you are joining via Zoom, now is the time to raise your virtual hands. This is for item 13C. So we have Rick. Rick, your 3 minutes will begin once you begin speaking.
I'll keep this real short. Sometimes it's easy to make an exaggerated analogy to prove a point. And personally, I try to be as Switzerland as I can and be as neutral as I can with a lot of these issues. But it occurs to me that I know there are certain protocols that have to be adhered to, legally and morally, if you will. But I picture El Camino College soliciting a physics professor and Albert Einstein showing up. I think the solicitations would be closed under those circumstances. This man over here I've known for more decades than I really care to say, and I think we really have a gem here. So regardless of the outcome, I just wanted to go on record. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam City Clerk, any other public comment, either on Zoom?
We do not.
Either. Okay. I'll close the public comment, bring it back to council then. Are there any comments or deliberation to be made? Opinions? Thoughts?
I'd like to make a motion for the Peckham firm.
I'm sorry, Peckham and McKinney?
Correct.
Thank you. I'll second that. Any other comments? Amendments? Yes.
Mr. Mayor, yeah, just a couple comments. Previous speaker mentioned 0 protocols, and that's exactly what got us to this point. We had 0 protocols in appointing our interim city manager, and I don't believe there's any real trust in this process. This council has lacked transparency from the very beginning, so I don't think we should pretend that this is an open and competitive search. We heard from our personnel HR person that we have not had a whole lot of companies, a lot of firms looking to do business with us. And that's consistent with what I've heard, because people believe this is a done deal. The die is already cast. Adding another 3 to 6 months and $30,000 to $40,000 is not going to fool anybody, not the staff, not the residents. We all know there are no real serious candidates. Everyone sees what's happening here. The outcome appears predetermined. And, you know, for those who are paying attention, the interim city manager knows, or certainly feels, he's acting like the job is his. It's clear he sees the job as his. And who can blame him? The public perception is there as well. And it only reinforces the belief that the decision was made months ago when this all transpired. Qualified candidates are not stepping up. They are walking away. And again, who could blame them? Why apply for a job that's already been handed out behind closed doors? This charade, again, wastes time, it wastes money, and we can't expect a lot of professionals who can expect a fair search. That said, I would support ending this costly, drawn-out pretense of a search. Let's stop pretending. Let's stop wasting time. Everyone paying attention knows where this is headed. Let's own it, make an appointment, and let's move on. Steve is certainly capable. He comes from a lineage of former Long Beach officials who've served Hermosa Beach well, and unlike many cities currently searching for the city manager, Hermosa Beach is not in a crisis. We certainly have our share of challenges, but the opportunities are much greater. And Steve would, I'm sure, admit this is a great role to walk into. He's inheriting a high-performing, award-winning staff, thanks to the strong foundation built by our team and the previous leadership.
Is that a competitive motion? Competing motion?
That is, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
I'm sorry, you say yes?
Yes.
So a substitute motion then?
Substitute motion, yes.
I'll just note that there's nothing on the agenda indicating that the council might make an appointment tonight of the city managers. That's probably an item that...
No, I certainly didn't say that. I just said let's just end the charade and not waste any more time and money.
I'm not sure I understand the motion.
There was a motion on the floor to choose Peckham and McKinney, your own, which I seconded.
Okay.
And then there's a alternative motion or
A substitute motion, as I understand it, Council.
So I don't
to not
understand the substitute
To
motion.
end this charade, and let's not pretend that this is going to be a fair and transparent search, and not hire either one, and then you guys can appoint who you want to appoint. We know who you want to appoint, and we can do that at a subsequent meeting.
So your substitute motion would be to pick neither of these firms tonight and to put something on a future agenda for appointment?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
I'm sorry, I took that to mean that you wanted to make an appointment this evening. Is that correct?
Well, as the city attorney just mentioned, we can't do that tonight.
We cannot do that.
You cannot do that.
But you can end the charade of an honest and open, transparent search.
The council could decide tonight to not engage either of these recruitment firms, and the council could decide tonight to place a discussion of an appointment on a future agenda.
Of the interim city manager.
Of a permanent city manager position. And I believe that's the substitute
I'm
motion.
sorry, to put on a future agenda the appointment of the interim city manager for the permanent job.
Yes. I believe if I've correctly
Is that
stated
the
it.
amendment? Is that the amendment?
Substitute.
That's the substitute motion.
Substitute motion.
Okay.
Is there a second? Is there a second to the substitute motion?
Guys inquire, Councilmember Jackson, I understand your concerns. Is there some alternative approach you might have towards picking one of these two firms tonight, or as the motion on the table is Peckham and McKinney? For example, would it be best to hold off several months and come back and revisit this then and see how better this interim city manager and we have a better ability to evaluate the performance then, or do you have any other ideas of what you might consider?
Well, I quite frankly, as many in the community and anyone paying attention believe, that it doesn't matter whether it's an additional month, 2 months, 6 months, the die is cast. You three are going to appoint who you appointed as the interim city manager, and I just as soon move on. Let's not waste any more time, any more money, hence my motion. Obviously, there's no second, so we can move on, Mr. Mayor.
We have a motion on the floor.
There's a motion and a, well, apparently there's no second for that.
The substitute died for lack of a second.
Correct.
I'll just state that, I think it's in the best interest of the community to go out there to search and seek what talent is there. There are several people I've heard in the woodworks that are interested in applying for the position, and they can approach the firm that we've recruited. I think that it's a sound, reasonable approach to spend $30,000 to find the best qualified candidate and move on from there. I don't like the characterization that there's a charade going on, and I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
I'd like to make a comment myself. I disagree with your accusations that there's anything that's been pre-decided or predetermined. You mentioned the fact that the interim city manager is acting as though the job is his. The job is his. He was appointed because we needed an interim city manager. There were no other choices. This was the best choice for the time, and as we've seen in the last few weeks, I think it's worked out pretty well. I'm as proud as I am of Joe San Clemente. I think he did a great job for the short time that he was interim city manager, but I really truly believe that no single person, no matter how good a job they're doing, can run two departments at the same time, especially city manager and public works director. And so something else needed to be done, and it was done. I think it was the best thing we could have done for our city, and I can see that in the last few weeks. So I really disagree and strongly disagree with your accusations of predetermined, so on and so forth. You've done nothing in the last few months except talk about the process, the process, the process. And while we are all willing to create that process and follow it, you come along here at the last minute, call us all conspirators to do something that's been done months ago, which you have no really actually any proof of or any indication that that's the truth or not. That's your personal opinion. And so I appreciate that. You're more than welcome to have one. But honestly, for you to make those statements and then just say, let's just drop this whole charade and move on and pick this person, I just think that's counterproductive. I think it's accusatory. I think it's political, to be honest with you, a bit, and I object to it. So,
Mr. Mayor,
if you want to follow through with this process that you're so concerned about, I think the rest of us are more than willing to.
If I may say something, I do not intend to go with a back and forth. You said he was the best choice. He was the only choice. As I reminded you, there was no process. You picked him out of thin air, without an interview, without a vetting, without recruiting. So there was no process. It was chaos created by 3 individuals who decided to force our city manager out and to then anoint the current interim city manager. So there was no best choice. He was the only choice. And I would be shocked, as would the majority of the community, if he is not your choice moving forward. So we can talk process all day long. This has nothing to do with politics. This is just the reality of what transpired.
There was no process and no interview when Joe San Clemente was chosen interim city manager. It was the right thing to do, and he was the only choice at the time. So there is no necessarily I'm not sure what process you're referring to. The majority of city council made a decision, and that's what we did. You don't seem to agree with it, and I appreciate that. You don't have to. We don't always agree on anything. But honestly, just to say that because it's not your choice, to say that it was predetermined and that it's wrong and that it's a conspiracy and so on and so forth is absurd. And I'm not going to do this anymore. You're absolutely right. There's no sense going back and forth here. This is obviously just a disagreement of opinion. So let's move on from this. There's a motion on the floor. If there is no more discussion, I'll call the question, please, Madam City Clerk.
This is for the original motion, and Councilmember Francois?
Thank you. It's a motion to select Peckham and McKinney.
Correct.
And I vote yes.
Councilmember Keegan?
Aye.
Councilmember Jackson?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem DeToy?
Aye.
Mayor Seaman?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Let's move on to 13D.
Item 13D, purchase of vehicles for police department.
Staff report, please.
Director Joe San Clemente will present this item. The chief is here as well.
Thank you. Mayor, Council, here for the request the purchase of 2 vehicles for the police department. As you know, the Public Works Department oversees the purchasing and maintenance of our city fleet. Our team works closely with the police department each year in evaluating the needs of the department's city fleet. Police had gone through, and there are currently 5 vehicles that they have that they've determined that they no longer need. They've been in service for some time, and they no longer meet the current needs of their department, and they are looking to remove these. These vehicles would either be auctioned or potentially repurposed to other city departments should they be suitable for those other needs. But currently, what they are looking to do is get some additional patrol pursuit vehicles. This is a 24/7 operation, so as we look at the type of vehicle, it's really critical that we get the right type of vehicle to meet the needs of their fleet. Currently, we have 10 patrol vehicles, one's dedicated to a watch commander, one for traffic duties. We did just add 4 electric Chevy Blazers to the fleet. Currently, the way that we're operating those is that we have 2 available in the day and 2 available at night so that they can charge and be ready to go into service. That only really leaves about 6 patrol vehicles for general use. So the 5 that we're looking to take off aren't currently meeting those needs. We're looking to supplement the patrol pursuit vehicle so that we can have additional availability throughout the day, especially if we have vehicles that are offline for maintenance or repair due to crashes or other just general maintenance needs, special operations or other items that do require increased levels of these vehicles in service at any one given time during the day. This really will help really expand the flexibility for the department and meet what the current needs are versus the current fleet that's there. So we're looking at 2 Chevy Tahoes. The vehicle costs are about $65,000. We purchased these through a cooperative purchase agreement that helps really provide the competitive pricing. The vehicle outfitting is about $50,000 per vehicle. Often when we're pulling patrol pursuit vehicles offline, we are able to take some of the equipment and transfer it. But whereas we're taking non-patrol vehicles off, we have to do fully outfitting for these, and that's why the outfitting cost is so high. So total cost for both vehicles is about $231,000. We do have funding available in the approved budget in our equipment replacement fund to cover these costs. So what we are seeking tonight is authorization of purchasing 2 vehicles. Currently, these would be through the State of California's General Services statewide contract, and we are looking for some flexibility or an other cooperative purchasing agreement should we find a better deal or these not become available in the coming year within this price cap, and then we would appropriate those funds from the equipment replacement fund to allow the purchase of these 2 vehicles. That concludes my presentation. Also here with Chief Phillips, if you would like either of us to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Joe. Are there any questions of staff? No? Okay, thank you. Close the staff report. Thank you so much. Bring it back to public, well, let's open the public comment then. Madam City Clerk.
Mayor, we do not have any speaker cards for this item. And going over to Zoom, we do have 1 virtual hand raised. Matt McCool, your 3 minutes will begin once you're unmuted.
Thank you, Madam City Clerk. Good evening, Mayor Seaman, City Council and staff. Matt McCool. As this council is aware that this has been an ongoing 10-year issue, as we have had environmental extremists leading the city who wanted to politicize the purchase of police vehicles. It's amazing and it's great to see, and I'm celebrating this tonight, the return to natural order here in Hermosa Beach once you remove the toxic element of the former city manager, the former police chief, and city councilman Justin Massey, that we're actually using practical application for police vehicles. And this got kind of contentious during the purchase of the 4 all-electric Chevy Volts. These are patrol vehicles. These are operate 24/7. All-electric, not Chevy Volts, Chevy Blazers. They cannot operate 24/7. So you purchased 4 Chevy Blazers that can only work half-time. It makes no sense. And that's why I was so adamant about this during the last time. But it was political to serve a need for Justin Massey to get his electric vehicles. And Desi Nelson and Robert Fortunato are not calling in here tonight. But this is the best thing ever. I'm celebrating this. This is absolutely the best thing for this police department. And every police chief, except for Paul LeBaron, has rejected all electric vehicles for your frontline patrol vehicles. I'm glad to see that Chief Phillips is new on the job here, but he is actually doing a good job here. And Director San Clemente, I just want to go ahead and clarify one thing from last time. I was highly critical of you, but I didn't mean any personal disrespect towards you on that. I was trying to call out the police chief who would not go ahead and step up and say all electric vehicles are the best for this department. So I'm glad here tonight. We're going back to conventionally fueled Chevy Tahoes. That's my time. That's my piece. Thanks.
Mayor, we do not see any other virtual hands raised for this item.
Okay, then I'll close public comment, bring it back to council. Any more comments or deliberation on this item?
Motion to approve staff's recommendation.
I'll second that. Discussion, deliberation? Madam City Clerk, call the question, please.
Councilmember Francois?
Yes.
Councilmember Keegan?
Aye.
Councilmember Jackson?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Detoy?
Aye.
Mayor Saman?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Next, we have item 14, future agenda items.
Tentative future agenda items. Anyone have any tentative future agenda items? Yes, Councilman Jackson.
Mr. Mayor, thank you, sir. I'm looking for support to bring the the storage lot up for discussion and possible action to provide 6 months' notice for termination of the lease.
I would have agreed with that because you and I have worked together on this before when it was first brought up, and I think there's a lot of value to the idea of changing it to a parking lot as soon as possible because it'll bring in income in the meantime. However, there is the possibility that we may be using that building for the when we redo the city yard, because we may need to relocate some of the duties of the city yard to that building, in which case then if we tear the building down, turn it into a parking lot, then we don't have that ability. We've kind of lost a possibility of doing something else. So while I totally agree with the idea of a parking lot there, for any number of reasons, the most important of which is that we could use the money while we're deliberating back and forth on the different facilities, but because there's that possibility that we may want to use it, then I think we should wait just a tad more, because I think in our future agenda we have a discussion about the delivery of how we're going to go about bidding and building the city yard. And so in that discussion, I would think that we would talk about the storage yard as a possible relocation, temporary relocation. So I won't support that now, but I love the idea. I want to do it, but I think right now we should just wait maybe perhaps another meeting or so until we get into the delivery of the construction of the city yard first.
Appreciate the comments, Mr. Mayor, and concur wholeheartedly. Obviously, if that's going to be a part of the process and the plan for the city yard review, my thinking is the sooner we give notice to the owner, who is, quite frankly, has not agreed to pay any more. He's getting a sweetheart of a deal. So, I think we should at least start that ball rolling, assuming that we are going to be doing something with that property one way or another in the next 6 months or so. So I would just at least like to have that discussion, and then, and if it's not the next meeting, whenever it makes sense to have that discussion in concert with the potential public works project, and synchronizing the time and figuring out what, if any, of that property public works would want to utilize, or would they just put up temporary trailers or whatever. In that case, we'd need to tear it down anyway. So
yeah.
I think just in terms of synchronizing those discussions, public works, but I guess my frustration is with the owner, who is not willing to pay anything more, which in my mind only accelerates the need for us to do something sooner versus later.
And I concur with you. I concur with you on that completely, 100%, as I just said. But I think we should just wait just
Your
a
Honor,
little longer until we have that discussion.
If it's helpful, we do intend to bring back the delivery method question to council on August 26th at your next meeting, and at that time we can provide a timeline for what we see is, we're going to have to get a design team. We're going to have to talk about financing. There's a number of things that need to be put in place. It'll give you a better sense of the steps along the way, and then you can decide whether to re-agendize that for future discussion.
Okay. Then, so I would say I support that, but not just yet. Let's wait one more meeting. August 26th is just a month away or so, so let's just wait a little bit farther. So is there any other support? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have a question on the August 26th meeting under future agenda items. We have resolution adopting a tourist investment district, management district, and that's on the agenda. I was wondering, that does involve the TOT tax or TOT assessment. Are we also going to consider or weigh the options of increasing the TOT or adjusting the TOT tax?
Just to clarify,
at the city level?
Just to clarify that TID, a Tourism Improvement District, is not an increase in the TOT. It is a separate surcharge that is assessed on the group of businesses, in this case hotels, that agree to it.
That's a voluntary assessment.
Yes, it is not an increase to the TOT.
Requires city council action, though. Correct.
City council action would be to approve the administration of it. It would not be money that would be set aside for the city council's use or expending. It's strictly for the Tourism Improvement District.
Right, but it is directly affected by a possibility that we could be changing the TOT tax.
It would, again, remain a surcharge on top of whatever TOT there is.
Right.
So if the council wanted, of course, if the council wanted to increase the TOT, that would have to be put to a vote.
Yeah.
Of the general population, but it's not of the voters of Hermosa Beach. It's not, this would not be put to a vote of the people.
Councilman
Thank
Francois?
you. Yes, sure.
Also, we're on future agenda items as suggestions now, and I believe the item you're discussing is a tentative future agenda item. So are you suggesting you want to move it off the tentative and make it a agenda item?
No, it's already listed on the
there.
tentative. I was just asking clarification on tentative future agenda items, which I believe that's where we are right now.
And right now, that's being driven by the process that the chamber is and their consultant is doing.
Right. Do you have any other?
Yeah, I have another question on another tentative agenda item for August, where it's a consideration of approval for special long event term agreements with AAU, AVP, and JVA. Those are all junior tournaments, correct?
Correct.
Okay, because I thought you had mentioned, I don't want to put you on the spot, but this morning...
I've been on the spot all night, apparently.
That's okay. At chamber meeting, you mentioned there still was a possibility that we could have an AVP Pro tournament coming back, or what was...
We had a meeting with the AVP today. I sat in on that meeting. There is interest, but again, it's constricted by the scheduling. There's could still be an opportunity to bring back the AVP next year.
Okay.
But that situation is still fluid.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. So any other future agenda item suggestions? Yes.
I'm seeking support to look at our campaign contribution limits and either tie them to the Levine Act or match our area cities because they're currently $250 per person. So just wanted to seek support and have that conversation before we get too close to the election in a year and a few months.
So that would be adjusting or raising the limit, which is currently 250? Yeah, I will support taking a look at that. Sure.
Very well, that's two. Discussion item?
I saw the council member online's mouth move. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll third that.
All right, that's three.
And that's to bring back a review of the contribution limits, or do potential
Well,
action to.
I think we need direction. What's the maximum we can bring it to?
I think the maximum is, I'm looking at the city attorney. I know the statewide, there's a Levine Act, which is $500 limits if there's someone has a deal coming towards you, development deal.
It's 500 now?
It was 250, they just raised it to 500. And if it is, you have to refund the money within 30 days, et cetera. So there's
Mike, why don't we set it so that it's for $4.99 then? I mean, do we want 500? Is that violating at 500, or is it 501 cents violates it?
It's anything above the limit. But I mean, that's the Levine Act itself. But we can set limits.
Isn't this the matter of the discussion
Yeah,
itself?
this is all.
We can bring back options.
We'll bring all that
So
back.
we have support from 3 council members to bring the discussion up, and that would, since we have 3, it's an action item. So I think that's good. Anything else? All right, then, I will close the future agenda items and move on to public comment. Is there anyone left that didn't get a chance to speak at the beginning of the meeting? Apparently not. So, close public comment, and that moves us to adjournment. So
Mr. Mayor, if I-
Yes, excuse me? Yes.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't see.
Are we going to clarify? There was an issue with regard to the Friends of the Library storage and Kiwanis storage. And I just wanted to clarify, the vote is already done, obviously, but the Friends of the Library pays a nominal fee for their facility, similar to what the Kiwanis does. The Kiwanis is seeking additional storage that is separate from their facility, and that is different than Friends of the Library. The Friends of the Library does not have additional storage. So there was confusion when it was the dollar something mentioned by the city attorney. That dollar something is the nominal rent that they pay that's similar to what Kiwanis pays. So I just want to make sure that was clear. Is that a correct summary?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I shared that $1 a month from the draft lease that I saw recently, and it might be apples and oranges. I don't know that it's the same thing that
No,
Kiwanis.
because we were talking about storage, not facility. The Friends of the Library operates their facility for $1 something a year, similar to Kiwanis's facility. Kiwanis asked tonight was for additional storage. That was the $255 they've been paying for the last 4+ years.
It's
That
not
is
a-
different than anything that the Friends of the Library had, because the Friends of the Library does not have additional storage.
And
So
I
that
apologize.
it was not clear when that question was asked and the answer was given.
I probably shouldn't have volunteered that information. I didn't have enough information at the time to be assured that it was relevant, and I probably shouldn't have said anything. I apologize.
I just would like to clarify one thing, though, for you, Ray. Kiwanis has its own facility that we operate. Yeah, I know. Okay, so the storage that we have is not additional storage for the Kiwanis Club itself. That storage unit, which is kind of a garage, basically, is adjacent to the property where the Christmas tree lot is, and inside of it is all of the it's all of the accoutrements for the Christmas tree lot.
I understand.
Yeah, the booth and the poles and all of that.
Additional
So
storage outside of what they're
it's okay. It's a matter of semantics, I suppose, but it's not storage for the Kiwanis Club facility. It's storage for the Christmas tree lot, which is a different item.
Oh, I understand.
Different thing altogether. Yeah.
Right. I got
And
it.
it used to be free for many, many, many years. It's only been the last. Yeah, I know. I get it. All right. So does that clarify?
I just want to make sure
Okay.
it's clear because the answer we received was not clear.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So you're good?
that's kind of interesting. I don't know if Councilmember Jackson, you're interested in having a future agenda item to take a look at fees we're charging for storage and city facilities, because I'm surprised that we had $1 a year. I mean, I thought we've reviewed these things and tried to bring them up to snuff with some type of, so I don't know if you're interested in opening that up for a future agenda item or not.
I think there already is one looking at nonprofit leases, municipal fees.
There's a fee study in general that would be brought back to council.
Oh, okay. That's what I was, okay, we haven't had it back yet, so, okay.
All right.
Thank
So
you,
we're all
Chris.
good on this discussion. Then I will adjourn this meeting at 9:37. Thank you. Good night.